Are alive. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, the ongoing conflict in Iran. There's been quite a few developments. Strait of Hormuz, are we going to be able to get that open? Do we need to have it open? Yes, we do. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, Joe Kent quits. Oh, man, I don't want to be part of the war because my Israel, a complete liar, a fraud, a fake, probably the leaker, should get locked up. But in my humble opinion, allegedly, I don't want nobody to try to sue me. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, the fraud in Minnesota with the Somalis is one thing. It's an issue, but it's part of a larger issue all over the nation with fraud. California fraud, oh my goodness, just out in the open, blatant. You got Rolls Royces, like what somebody had an Aston Martin or something. Hey, you're talking about basically having a collection of luxury cars at what appears to be an abandoned motel, talking about where Hospice is. Oh, okay. 1 out of every 10 federal dollars for hospices is spent in Los Angeles. That's obvious fraud. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Plus, Jasmine Crockett's crazy security. We'll talk about all that and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, shout out to you guys. We got a whole lot going on. Joe Kent. I want to speak on Joe Kent right quick. I want to speak on Joe Kent because it brings up the whole Israel topic. Can I just speak about Israel frankly? I've been doing that over the past few videos, but sometimes when you speak about a thing that people don't agree with, I don't know. It's like if you've not heard my take and you are unfamiliar with the take and you don't know a lot about it, it might not be as appetizing as the thing that you already heard before. The Jews this, the Jews that. I've always said the Jews are the white man's white man. Since the white man will face some adversity, or he thinks he faces adversity, there must be someone to blame the same way that a black man may do. I'm not saying all white men do this, nor am I saying all black men do this, but I am saying that some of us do that. Let's blame them because I can't succeed in my life, because I'm in the basement, because. Same thing with a black person. I've yet to see a successful black person cry about the white man or the Jews or anybody else. Same thing for the whites who are successful. And the only successful whites who complain about the Jays are the Jays who make money. Pardon me. Let me say that one more time, because I almost kind of slipped. If you know, you know. The only kind of whites who complain about the Jews and who are successful at the same time are successful because they're complaining about the Jews. Tucker Carlson. Okay, that's a big part of his whole thing. That's a big part of his audience. If he didn't speak the way he speaks, he would not have the audience that he has, because there's a lot of guys who do podcasts. There's a lot of guys that are on television. But what sets you apart? Okay, you know what? I'm watching Tucker because he speaks the truth about the Jews and everybody else don't want to do it. Meanwhile, there's all kind of money being poured into that show from somewhere, from Qatar, right? Oh, but that don't matter. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to totally ignore the fact that he's funded by the Qataris and then talk about somebody you think might be getting funded by the Israelis. Oh, okay, that's fine. Either way it goes, it's all about money at the end of the day. If you're successful and you complain about that, it's because you make money from that. That doesn't mean you really believe it. It doesn't mean you really believe it. But those who really believe it are often the ones who are unsuccessful in their life. Let me tell you something about the Jews. The Jews are the best group of whites in the nation aside from the United States. Because let's be real about it. The Jews that we know of, that, you know, your Benjamin Netanyahu, people like this, it was the same thing that happened with America. You see, in America, a lot of the best, a lot of the big brain whites came to America to build this up. But the blacks, who were the best workers in the world, we could do anything, anywhere, anytime. Give us the education and we got it. So we came together, built a nation, boom, we're the best. The J started Israel because you got some of the best Europeans, like Benjamin Netanyahu from Poland. They went to Israel, blew that up. That's America number 2. That's what's going on. So then when we want to go over there and do something, when we want to go over there and secure some of our interests like oil, we say, hey, any Europeans want to help? Anybody else want to help? We go to the Germans. We ask them, hey, can we get some minesweepers or something like that? We give you guys money, and 50,000 American troops are stationed there. We got a lot of Americans who are my age, who were born in Germany, and we still in Germany, to protect y'all from Russia. Hey, can we get a minesweeper? No, we don't want to be involved. We don't want to be involved. All right. France, I know you guys got a shaky background, but we help y'all too and give y'all money. And we protect a lot of your former colonies coming over here, like the Haitians. Hey, can we get a little bit of help? Oh, no, misconduct. Same thing with the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer. They can't even keep their countries from being invaded and turned into Afghanistan, let alone help us. But then when we say, hey, Israel, can you guys help? Sure, we got you. No problem. Oh, we give them money. We give Germany money. I'd rather we give a nation money that will actually help us when we ask them to help us. Why are we giving you money with no return on the investment? I don't care nothing about the religious part. I'm not Christian, Muslim, none of that. That's what y'all squabble over. I don't care nothing about that. I'm talking about what makes sense. Hey, if we're giving you money, do we get anything in return? Do we get any kind of military power, any kind of intel, any kind of anything? Nothing? Why are we giving you money? And I would say the same thing for any nation. It don't really matter who it is. Any of the Europeans, any of the Africans or whoever. Okay, we give money to the African nation for what reason? Is it humanitarian? Do we expect to get something back? Are we just being generous? Like, what are we actually doing? Let's give money in the way that makes sense and in the way that we understand what's going on, in the way that can either benefit us or them. And if it benefits them, let that be a benefit to the entire world, a humanitarian aid. But do the Europeans need humanitarian aid? I don't think they do. So why are we giving them 50,000 troops to protect them? Oh, okay. So if we protect them, then why can't they come through for us when we ask? We don't ask the Germans for anything. We don't want no bratwurst. We don't want no bangers and mash. We don't want no baguettes. All we want maybe is like a couple of boxes of wine from your wineries. Okay. But beyond that, we good. We got California too, so it's fine. What do you guys actually contribute for us to be aiding you? We're the people that chiefly fund NATO. We're the ones that's been funding the whole Ukraine kerfuffle to prevent Russia from invading y'all. Because really, how about this? We could just let Russia take y'all. We could just let that happen. Take up all the troops and just let Russia take y'all. But that wouldn't be very nice. You want to have some people that got some sense be produced from you people over there in that particular part of the world. But if you don't want to do that, then let us know right now. If you don't want to actually participate, if you don't want to join in what we got going on, let us know right now. If we can just cut ties. We can just cut ties, because at this point, what do we get? I'd rather wouldn't invest in a place where we actually get something back from what we put into it. Period. Okay. I don't care where it is in the world. If you got something we want, let's invest into that. If you can help us when we ask, let's invest into that. And if we can't, then what are we talking about? So yeah, shout out to the Jays. Shout out to all the European nations. But shout out to the Jays. They're the best European nation. You can say they're not European. They are what they are. They're like the super Europeans. They're like the ultimate Europeans. They're like the economic European. That's who they are. They're good at that. That's why they got their own nation. That's why whenever we ask them for help, they come through. In one way or another, they come through. But we asked, hey, Trump, and you know what? This was brilliant about Trump, to ask them publicly, knowing full well they're not going to come through, because they're not going to ask them publicly. Hey, can you guys give us some minesweepers? Can we get a little bit of, nope, we can't do it. Don't worry about it. Don't totally worry. Hey, do not worry about it. It's totally fine. So back to the guy. What's his name? Rex Fox, some, undercover cop name, Joe Kent. Okay, Joe Kent. Bro, okay, let's talk about you right quick, Joe Kent. I think, in my humble opinion, that you are a leaker and you were trying to subvert the administration. and you should go to prison, in my humble opinion. Some will be shielded away from that. Some will not want to believe that because he mentioned Israel and they agree with him on the Israel part. But that's just him trying to gain support from the MAGA base and also trying to fracture the base. He's being fired, kicking and screaming. The same thing Elon Musk did. Oh, Trump's in the Epstein files. Just trying to cause a ruckus on your way out. Bro, it's time for you to leave. And I don't even think Trump wanted to have to out him like that, because I think what's going on here is pretty obvious. First of all, you use the J card. Y'all know that's not a real thing. Y'all know that's what normies believe. Y'all know that to be true. If you're intelligence, don't play games. That's the first red flag right there. And then he'll talk about his wife being blown up in ISIS or being blown up by an ISIS attack in 2019. Oh, my dear precious wife. But you got remarried though, bro. 4 years later, your wife got blown up in 2019 and you were remarried in 2023. I'm not saying you can't get remarried, but the way you present yourself is like a grieving widow. I can't tell. You've been married since 2023 to a whole new woman. Okay. you got a whole new, one in 4 years later, I've moved on. You appear to be pretty healed to me. And if you're not, I can't tell. You appear to be a fake person, somebody that gained access to the administration through legitimate means. You didn't just completely fraud your way to the top, but I feel like your purpose was to subvert the administration. You say you're against the war in Iran because you think Israel goaded Trump into doing it. But let's not forget, this has been an escalating thing that's been going on for a long time with Iran. Trump has been clear about his stance on Iran for the past 40 years. In 2018, Trump hit Soleimani from Iran, deleted him. Where was your moral compass then? In 2025, last year, he hits the Iranian nuclear sites, the bunker buster. Where was your morality then? And then, weeks ago, he hits Iran with Israel. Why didn't you quit right then? If your stance has been for the past few years that invading Iran is your red line, then why didn't you leave the administration before that? I don't know. Maybe because you were the leaker and you couldn't have left because you had to gather intel and then tell, which again is a crime and you will go to the penitentiary. That's called treason, sedition, all of that. Okay, espionage, sabotage, the whole 9 yards. All the French surrendering coward, all the French surrendering cowardice words you did. Allegedly. But hey, you know what? I can say I want to blame the Israelis as a cover. I'm going to talk about them as a cover. That's kind of what it seems like to me. And if it's not, I can't tell. I can't really tell. So I hope that he didn't get anything. I think the intelligence community knows enough to spot somebody that's, not on a, he had already been removed from security briefings for a while. He already been out of the loop for a while. So it was only a matter of time before this whole thing happened. I don't think he's a patriot. I think he is a coward who was allegedly leaking information. And that's why he's not part of the administration anymore. Oh, I quit because of Israel. Oh, okay, whatever, bro. Hey, don't even worry about it. Okay. Negan says, why don't I enlist for Trump? Well, first of all, I'm a little bit too old to even enlist. Okay. Now, what are you doing with your life, Negan? What you got going on with your life? I'll tell you one thing. One thing for sure is that if the war came to my front door, I'm ready. If the war came to me, I'm ready. So what are we talking about exactly? And there's a lot of Americans who are much younger than I am who would like to go ahead and join. And as far as the war, just to be clear, as I said before, what I'm talking about right now is not about being pro-war. It's about being against somebody that is a leaker, somebody that's trying to sabotage the operation. If you don't like what's going on, then go ahead and quit. Me saying that he should have done that is not the same thing as saying that the war is a good thing or a bad thing. I said that if the war is a prolonged situation, then I'd be against it. I said that right when the war started. And then if it's going to be a short one, then I'd be for it. I said that right away. So let's not be silly. At the end of the day, I think that Joe Kent is a traitor and got caught. And that's why he is leaving. But since they kind of caught him early, he didn't really leak too much that was of any importance. Because if he was to be around when they were talking about hitting Iran, that would have got leaked, but it didn't. So that's kind of what's going on in my humble opinion with Joe Kent. I don't see him as a patriot. I don't see him as a good guy. I see him as a traitor and somebody that was trying to subvert the administration. Okay. And his wife, I hear, is his new wife, not the wife that got deleted in 2019 by ISIS, but his new wife that he moved on and got, she is supposedly woke, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. And sometimes your mind can change when you're around that kind of environment. Sometimes that can change. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And you know what? I know some of us are a little bit scared. They're a little bit scared because you got war going on. Hey, you know what? That's life. I remember when 9/11 happened. I was in school when that happened. I'm in 12th grade when that happened. I know a lot of people I went to school with enlisted. Some had great careers. They retired and everything already at my age and they chilling. And some guys got hurt, PTSD. That's just part of life. You know, I was going to be in peacetime, unfortunately. And like I said, I like for the war to be over very quickly. I would not want a prolonged conflict like Ukraine. And remember, Trump and J.D. Vance immediately upon a second term tore into Zelensky for this never-ending war. And I've not seen him since. I've not seen the sweatpants ensemble since they tore into him about the ongoing, never-ending, costing billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars war. And just because it's not Americans dying does not mean that nobody is dying. And I think that nobody should want a humanitarian crisis to just continue. And we're funding it for what? Funding the meat grinder known as the Russia-Ukraine war. For what reason? For what purpose? To protect the Europeans that can't even give a minesweeper? All right. What I would say is let's just broker a deal with Ukraine. Ain't no sense in this war, this primitive nonsense going on. Let's just broker a deal. Because if they're going to keep fighting and fighting and fighting over a little bit of land, just get to them so you can end the fighting, end the brutal nature of what they're doing. That's what I would say. That'd be my point of view. If I could just run the show, I would say just strike a deal. And then that'd be that. That'd be that. Oh, also Dubai. If you guys want to go live in Dubai, I never saw the allure of Dubai. I never really understood it. I never liked Dubai. People say, yeah, I'm gonna go to Dubai. I don't. It's too hot. It's too far. It's Muslim. Too expensive. It just don't make no sense. And it's not really a real place. It's not really a real place. When them drones strike a hotel, there's nothing you could do about it. Ain't nobody to call. Ain't no bunker that you can really. They were hiding in parking garages underneath the hotel. I mean, Dubai is not ready for anything that's happening right over there in the Strait of Hormuz. If I was in Dubai, I would leave right now. If I can leave, I don't know if they got any flights out of there. But yeah, I'll be up out of there immediately. Abu Dhabi, yeah, now use drive sheets. Abu Dhabi, Dubai, all of that over there. I'm good. At least until things pipe down. Okay, I'm not going over there, period. But if anybody wanted to go, I would say just let this conflict die down. The Strait of Hormuz is going to be the biggest issue right there. They don't put mines in the water. They're attacking boats in the water. They drone striking boats. So they're focusing on shutting the Strait of Hormuz down, which is going to be a problem because you got LNG. 90% of the world's LNG go through there. Oil, of course. You got gas. It's very expensive. They release some reserve barrels, but it's still expensive. What are y'all paying where you live at? I think I paid, like 3 something. I've not paid over 3 something in a while. For a while, I was paying like $250, $240, something like that. I think one time it might have been $225. I mean, you're talking about real low. RIP to the good old days in the 90s where you had gas that was below $1, 75 cents, 85 cents. Throughout the bulk of my youth in my 20s, I was paying $1 to $1.25 for a gallon of gas. And then 9/11, what was it, 9/11? I'm not sure. Something happened. And then it became like $3. And that was the norm for a while. And then it kind of crept back down to $2 and some change. But it has never been back to the $1.25 that it used to be back in the day, or the 99 cents. That's not been a thing no more. But it was a big, it was a big jump, a huge jump. Okay, $5.99 regular. $5.99 regular. That's crazy. $6 in California. I mean, California is ridiculous, man. And the problem with California is that It's just bad policy. Bad policy. I'm not impressed by Los Angeles. It's a dump. Bad policy in California makes California what it is. Beautiful state once you leave the filth of the cities. Beautiful state, but run so poorly. Gavin Newsom. Hey, how would you guys like President Gavin Newsom? How would you like him? Now, first of all, California's not run properly. And second of all, Gavin Newsom has a learning disability. Or was it not? It was reading disability. He has dyslexia or something like this. It's like, all right, bro. Okay, if you a little bit special, you got a low score in your SAT for real, and you weren't just trying to appeal to the black audience, if that's you for real, I'm not sure that I want you to be anywhere in office, let alone the president, because I want my president to be intelligent. I want my president to know how to read and to understand things, have good critical thinking skills. I want a good president to be in there. I'm not sure I want Gavin Newsom. Pink man, pink tan, I don't want that. Nah. Give me Marco Rubio or give me death. Shout out to, you know what I mean? But that's what I want. JD Vance can continue to develop, maybe still in administration some kind of way, but right now, give me Marco, and he'll probably face off against a Gavin Newsom because that's probably their best guy. They don't have anybody else. But if you admit that you have issues with reading, that's not a good sign for a president. I want my president to be intelligent. I want a big brain rocket scientist. Okay, I want a 200 IQ in there. I don't want a guy that's just, looking like Max Headroom, a figurehead. That's not what you've had guys like that in there before, Barack Obama, but that's not what I want for a real president. I want a true leader, a guy that can go in there and be innovative and do things that others have not wanted to do before. But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Oh yeah. Hey, that's right, Hyde. The homeless love Gavin because there's so many amenities. Being homeless is attractive. If you want to just smoke crack all day and be homeless, go to California. Remember that dude that smash. Remember that video? That guy was traveling from West Virginia, Sophia, West Virginia, which is right by Beckley. He was traveling from there on a train to California to be homeless. That's what they do. They travel from all over the country, all over the world to be homeless in California because you got good weather, 75 degrees year round. It doesn't really rain too much at all ever. And you got all kind of amenities. If you like to get high, there's plenty of drugs, strong drugs. You want some money? Okay, well, go down right here and you can sign papers for like $2, $5. You could do that all day. And before you know it, you got enough for your drugs and you got free paraphernalia. They give you free food. They might give you some shelter. Didn't they built a building for them in California, like an actual building just for the homeless. So you can get you a nice little, building right in downtown LA, nice view, no job, on drugs, crazy in your head. It's totally fine. That's what they do out there in California. That's a big moneymaker though. It's a lot of money in the NGOs doing that. It's a lot of money in the fraudulent stuff that we expose in Minneapolis. Same thing happening in LA. Fake hospice centers, fake this, fake that, fake daycares. Hey, Nick Shirley went to a daycare and the door was open and the kids were outside. And I think it was like somebody's apartment and they just had loose kids just running around. Nick asked the kids, hey, where's your parents? Oh, they're not here. We just out here. But the government, your tax dollars is paying for that. See, that's called fraud. And that's what California is built on. Same thing with Minnesota. And that's why they don't want the illegal aliens to go anywhere, because they know if the illegal aliens are out of the picture, then their economic driver is no longer going to be there to support them. And that's going to cause an issue with jobs and everything else. That's going to cause more issues with poverty. But see, the problem is you cannot base an economy off of stealing from the federal government. That's not really how that works. All you're going to do is just make all Americans suffer because of your inability to create employment for your people, of your inability to do for this great population you have. So I'm glad California thinning out and it's not going to be as many humans in that one place because they can't manage it over there. Others may be able to manage it, but they can't. They simply cannot manage it. And that's just the bottom line with that. Yeah, hopefully Nick Shirley has that security on deck, the security on lock, because he's most certainly going to need it. He most certainly will need it. Mike A says you'd rather have JD Vance or 28. Why JD over Marco? I want to hear the psychology behind that, because I think Marco's a better candidate. I like JD Vance, but he needs to develop a little bit more, in my opinion. So why do you like JD over Marco? Y'all let me know. But anyway, before we get into the video, thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to you guys for being the first sponsor of the show, for watching and doing everything you do. Y'all know I couldn't do it without you. But also shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will be in the description, or visit patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website, and for each long form video I produce, I write an article, and in each article, we got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, politically at state, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. That's ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Never going to call it X, TikTok. All my links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. And as I always say, if you think it's talking to me on the internet, you're probably not. If you did not email me first and I didn't email you back, at contact@anthonyblogan.com. The email is always on the description on the contact page of the website, so you don't forget. And the website's always in the description box of each video. Having said that, if somebody is speaking to you talking about their ABL and it's a little sketchy, a 1,000-digit WhatsApp number, a random email address, a YouTube comment, it looks kind of weird, the name ain't right, just assume it's not me and someone's trying to scam you. I don't care how official it looks, it's probably a scam, especially when they start talking about monies and gift cards and all kind of extra stuff that you don't know about. It's going to be a guy over in India or Russia or Africa. And you know how they sound. You already know what time it is. The African dude going to sound straight like Nigerian Nollywood uncle. Thank you for calling me. I do not have ABL right here, but I am his best friend. I live in the house with him. You never see me. He is ashamed of us. You do not see us, but we are here. So please give me the contact number from the back of the card right now. Give me the digits of the card and your credit card. Give me the cards now. If you're hearing that on the other end of the phone from a guy pretending to be linked to me, it's not me being scammed. So please stop immediately. Now, let's get into a few things here. Let's get into Joe Kent. I'm going to get him out the way early. Okay, let's go to Trump talking about Joe Kent on St. Patrick's Day. And shout out to the Irish. Happy belated St. Patrick's Day. Y'all know I'm like, what am I, 3%, 4% Irish? My great grandfather, who I knew, RIP to him, he was biracial, black and Irish. So I got the Irish blood in me too. ABL, where's your green? Since I'm 3% Irish, that counts. I only know green. I got the green in my blood. All right, let's hear this from Trump about Joe Kent with his green tie for St. Patrick's Day. And RIP in advance to the headphone users.
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. Well, I read his statement.
All right, there we go. So the statement that Joe Kent put out talking about, blame Israel. That's the stupidest. I mean, that right there, that's the beep, beep. That's the dinging. Anyway, because they know that's not really real. The people that's in the know, they know some other stuff. But anyway, what Trump said here, in my opinion, is that security-wise, he's no good because he's a leaker, potentially, allegedly. Maybe a smart guy, but it's not good with security.
Most Americans.
Now, this is Joe Kent in August of 24 on the Sean Ryan podcast, okay? Just to be on the same page, this is not recent, as in like yesterday, day before, nothing like that. This is, again, Joe Kent on the Sean Ryan podcast. And what's this? What day? This is August of 2024, talking about Iran. Now, when you're listening to this, you got to ask yourself, is he saying that Iran's a threat or they're not a threat? Because in his letter, he said that they were not a threat. But is he saying the same thing right here? You be the judge.
Most Americans aren't aware of it. Our troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked 150 plus times by Iranian proxies. And when we say Iranian proxies, we got to be clear on what that is. That's the Iraqi government that we pay. Because after the Iraqi military, we spent $2 trillion on, surrendered to ISIS, we had to go back in there in very short order and stand the military back up again. And guess who filled the breach? The Shia militias controlled by Iran did. And the Iraqi government's controlled by Iran. So these Iranian proxies that are attacking our troops are 100% funded by the United States of America. We're funding the guys that are attacking our troops. And so it's like, well, then why do we leave our troops there? And that's always been my question. I think we should have had them out a long time ago. We can get into it when we talk about my late wife, but she should have been out of Syria because Trump gave the order to get those guys out of there. Most Americans aren't.
Okay, there we go. So there's a lot. First of all, at the end, remember I told you earlier in this stream that Joe Kent, he lost his wife in 2019 by an ISIS strike over in Syria, like you just said at the end. But he has since been remarried. So when he says my wife, he means my first wife. Let's be clear about that, because the way he says things, it might make you think one thing, but that's not necessarily the case. But anyway, his first wife got hit in 2019 by ISIS in Syria. But he's saying right here that Iran's the threat, in my humble opinion, because you're talking about the Iranian funded groups that go out there and hurt Americans. Now, his stance is also that we should just not be over there at all. Now, my question would be, how do you propose we actually do what you're suggesting? And if it's just as simple as us leaving, then wouldn't that still be an issue that fester over there and create problems later? You're kicking the can down the road. He seems he's kind of all over the place, in my humble opinion, kind of all over the place. And again, if you thought so strongly about this and you're talking about the Israelis made us do it, why didn't you bow out earlier when you saw writing on the wall? Anybody could have seen that. It was YouTube videos protecting the Iran war. That's not a difficult thing to see coming. You saw it coming and you didn't leave because you were leaking, allegedly. And how you going to leave when your purpose is not to actually help with the war or anything else, is to leak information? Now, this is a tweet from him back in 2020. We should not sit and wait for the next attack, wipe Iran's ballistic capability out, and get our troops out of Iraq. They're only targets now. No U.S. Wounded in action, killed in action is a tribute to the professionalism of military and intel professionals, not Iranian restraint. So right there, you're talking about you should go ahead and go hard on Iran and hit Iran. So when you say you wanted to hit Iran, what did you mean? A little bit, a lot of bit, to what degree? What did you want to do here? And if you hit Iran, there's a potential for a conflict. So I'm just kind of confused. Like, what has changed between 2020 and 2024 and 2026? I don't really get it. I don't understand, Joe Kent. I think that you were there for another reason, which was leak information. But they found you out and barred you from the intel meetings, and now you kicking and screaming as they fire you. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, speaking about the Israelis and whatnot, to move on from Joe Kent, speaking about the Israelis, have you guys seen these Benjamin Netanyahu videos I'm putting up? I put up one video, but there's another one of Benjamin Netanyahu, because the rumor is that he had died in an Iranian strike, but he's putting out proof of life videos to show that he's still living. But a lot of y'all are saying, hey, you know what? These videos look kind of fake. They look pretty AI, and he might be dead. Now, we're going to watch this one. I've not shown this one yet on this channel, but y'all let me know if this is real or fake.
פה עם שיר ושיר. איזה יופי.
תודה רבה.
תודה לכם.
תודה רבה.
תודה לכם. טוב? קצת לספוג שמש. לכם. של מי הכלב? איזה סוג זה?
נענית, ישראלית.
נענית ישראלית, כל הכבוד. טוב, גם לה מגיע קצת.
ישראלית אמיתית.
לכולכם מגיע. יצאתם להתעורר קצת?
כן.
יפה מאוד. תראה, ירושלים, יש משהו יותר יפה מזה?
Now, here's a detail. Look at his hand. Okay, his left hand, you see where the little dog is? Shout out to the dog. He has a ring on his hand. You see it right there? Now, as he lifts his hand up, the ring appears to vanish. Or maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, or the camera angle. Maybe his ring is being obscured by the rest of his hand due to him moving it ever so slightly, but it appears to actually just vanish off of his hand. The ring appears to vanish off his hand.
גם לה מגיע קצת.
ישראלית אמיתית.
לכולכם מגיע. יצאתם להתעורר קצת?
כן.
See, did you see it? Like, look a little bit more close. Can I play this slower? Let me see if I can.
יצאתם להתעורר קצת?
Oh, that's just sped it up. Okay, let's not be retarded, ABL. Come on. Hold on. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Turn the sound down, and then you see the ring? One more time. Okay, he's going to lift his hand up. Right about, there we go. All right. Lift the hand up, sir. We don't got all day. There we go. And then the ring just kind of vanishes. So is my mind playing tricks on me? Like, what's going on? What do y'all think? Do you think that these videos are real or fake? And my thing is, if the videos are fake, I don't understand the purpose, because you can't do that forever. If you're actually hurt or you dead or something, like, you can't do it forever. So at a certain point, it's going to get revealed that you're actually not here or you're injured or something like that. And then you putting out fake videos that just look crazy. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully everything's all right. But these videos look fake, bro. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the purpose is. Now, there's two schools of thought, I suppose. One school of thought is that he is dead, like Iranian media say he was after an Iranian strike, or he could be injured or sick, and they don't want to show him right now. But once he gets well, he'll be back out in the public eye. So I don't know. Y'all let me know. But anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, here's Tulsi Gabbard talking about what Joe Kent said, because remember, Joe Kent was like, I don't think Iran's an immediate threat to us. Here's Tulsi Gabbard talking about, well, you can't really decide who that is. We can. All right, let's get a little bit of sound. That might help. And let's turn it up.
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False. This is the worldwide threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and that, quote, there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. Was it the intelligence community's assessment that nevertheless, despite this obliteration, there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime? Yes or no?
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is up to the president based on a volume of information that he receives.
It is precisely your responsibility to determine.
Now, let's pause right here. Do you guys think that it's up to Tulsi Gabbard to make that declarative statement, or up to Trump? Y'all let me know, because some may think that it's her responsibility or just them and intelligence, and some think it's Trump. What do y'all think? And how you feel about Tulsi Gabbard in that role, you know, over at the DNI, Department of National Intelligence? Is she a good pick for that role? I think Tulsi Gabbard is smart in a different kind of way. I think Tulsi Gabbard is smart like an Elon, and if channeled properly, it can be used properly. But I think that she might not be strong in other things, but just her pure brain power is there, in my humble opinion. I think it's there, but y'all let me know what you think. Okay. Now, speaking about, being a threat, it's not just Iran, it's other countries. And Tulsi, again, is going to talk about other countries developing very creative ways to attack us with highly advanced weapons. And again, I think she's very smart. And there are some things that exist in this world that we don't really know about yet. They know it, but we're not really aware quite yet.
However, the intelligence community assesses that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and Pakistan have been researching and developing an array of novel, advanced, or traditional missile delivery systems with nuclear and conventional payloads that put our homeland within range.
All right, what do y'all think? I think it's true. So she said, what? China, North Korea. What other country? China, North Korea, Iran, Pakistan, Russia, China. They've been developing ways, traditional and creative ways you might not think of, to hit the United States. Remember they said that there could have been a threat of a drone attack in California from the Iranians? The question would be, how would they do that? How would they do that? Because that's kind of far. But they're going to launch from Iran? Or they're going to launch from somewhere in China or a vessel? They said that it was going to be a vessel off the coast of California. How did the vessel get there? Who knows? Who knows? Duel says, what's my thoughts about the UFO sightings over Iran lately on video? I've not seen those. And I can't say anything too much about them because I gotta try to some kind of way verify the authenticity, some kind of way. But if that's the case, I would not be surprised because you see a lot of UFO activity when there's threat of nuclear attacks. Because what they say is that whoever the people that got the crafts, whoever those are to have the crafts, don't want us to use nukes. They said it could be some inner earth people, but I don't want to get too deep right now. I don't want to get too deep. But basically, long story less long, when there's a threat of nuclear war, that's when they show up. Or they show up around nuclear sites because they don't want that to happen. Because if you press that nuke button, it's all over with. It's a wrap. Ain't no coming back. Ain't no we can fix this. Ain't no nothing. It's over with once you do that. Because it's going to be escalation. And to the point where the whole world will be done. That's called mutually assured destruction, MAD. And you don't want that at all. Now, speaking about economies in ruin, countries in ruin, Cuba. And we have Trump. Hold on. You know what? This right here, this picture of Trump is like Trump and his two kids. Okay. Trump is the dad and his two kids. Like Trump is the dad and his two kids are talking to company. Trump got his friends over and his two kids on the couch talking to company. Now, dad has a favorite kid out of the two, but he can't really say it. And I think we know who the favorite is.
But the bottom line is their economy doesn't work. It's a non-functional economy. It's an economy that has survived. That revolution, it's not even a revolution, that thing they have has survived on subsidies from the Soviet Union and now from Venezuela. They don't get subsidies anymore, so they're in a lot of trouble. And the people in charge, they don't know how to fix it. And so they have to get new people in charge. All
right, there we go. Talking about Cuba. Ultimately, you got to take Cuba because we cut them off from their allies over in the East. We cut them off from China, Iran, and all of them, Russia. So if they can't have them as a partner to send them oil and stuff like that, they're going to have to rely upon us. It's either or. It's not, they could just be independent because they're not able to do that quite yet. Maybe in the future when they are not relying upon, because they have been relying upon them over there so they could become, it's kind of like South Korea, because South Korea is controlled by the Americans. The Chinese don't want the American influence to get to their border, which is why the Chinese back North Korea. It's like a buffer in between what China wants to do with their people and what the Americans do with our people. It's a buffer. And if you're able to successfully make Cuba into a mini Russia, that's a little bit too close for comfort. So we're trying to not have that happen and have them be more under our influence. And the objective would be to improve their lives and also remove the influence of a hostile nation off our border, the same way China does. Okay, let's keep on going here.
I don't need you.
Now, this is about NATO, because Trump was asking NATO, hey, can you guys chip in on this war effort in Iran? Can you guys chip in? Can we get a minesweeper? Can we get something? Oh, no, we can't help. But here he is talking about all of what we do for these nations in NATO, and we don't get much back in return. We don't get much back. Okay, check it out.
I don't need your aircraft carriers after we've already won. So, those things are very disappointing. And you have to remember, we have 45,000 troops in Japan. We have 45,000 troops in South Korea. We have 50,000 troops in Germany. We defend all these countries. And then, do you have any minesweepers? And they say, well, would it be possible for us not to get involved? I've been saying it for a long time. I don't need your aircraft.
Exactly. It's like, okay, come on. We do all this for you. We spent all this money with you. And people, when they start talking about when people talk about foreign funding foreign countries, giving foreign countries money, when people talk about that and they complain about it, it's always about the Israelis. But we give a lot of countries a lot of money all over this world, namely the Europeans, the individual countries, NATO, the European Union. They were trying to get some more with this whole Green New scam. It's like, look, we done gave y'all enough money. What are we getting as a result? Can we get a minesweeper? Oh, no. All right, don't worry about it. Hey, you know what? That will be remembered. We're not going to retaliate against you, but that'll be remembered. When you need us, we're going to do what we have to do to benefit the whole world. But little small things, not too much anymore, because y'all got to come through when we need you. If we're going to do all these things for you, then you got to do for us. It needs to be, a two-way street. It can't just be one-sided where we give everything you take and give nothing back. Now, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Okay. Here's Chuck Schumer talking about all the hate mail he's gotten ever since he called make sure I get it right. Oh, the SAVE Act. He called the SAVE Act Jim Crow 2.0. So ever since then, he's been getting quite a bit of hate mail. All right, let's check it out. And I think the SAVE Act did pass the Senate, but it has not passed the House yet. Or it may pass, I don't know. Like I said, with stuff like this, I don't pay a lot of attention as far as what it passes until it gets signed into law. Because it'll pass the Senate, and then it won't pass the Senate. And then it'll pass the Senate, but it won't pass the House. It'll pass the House, but it won't pass the Senate. Wake me up when it passes both houses, it passes Congress, period, and gets on President Trump's desk. Wake me up when that happens. But until then, I don't care about where it passed. But anyway, here is Chuck Schumer talking about all the hate mail he's gotten ever since calling the SAVE Act Jim Crow 2.0. Check it out.
So I have called this act over and over again Jim Crow 2.0. And they hate it. I've gotten 50 million right-wing attacks on my email because I said it. And you know why they attack it? Because they know it's the truth. It is Jim Crow 2.0, but it's spread across the whole country, not just regionalized.
It's ridiculous, man, because, that was a real thing. Listen, Jim Crow was a real thing designed to keep black folks out of American society. It was designed to keep blacks and whites separate. That's what it was. This ain't Jim Crow. You're talking about the chief thing, the core element of this is preventing illegal aliens from voting. You guys want the illegals to vote because that's your underclass. That's your new underclass, your new slave class, and they steal from the government and support your failing local economies. But you know what you could do is innovate, try to figure out new ways to do things rather than stealing money from the taxpayer, rather than importing all these underclass people. And what you're going to have in the future is a crime problem. A lot of y'all bringing in Muslims. You're going to have terror attacks. Some dude in the future going to be named Muhammad. And you're going to go out there and blow up a city hall. And you're wondering, how did this happen? Well, you brought in a bunch of these guys from over there. Now, I'm not saying all Muslims are going to go bang, bang. Allah Akbar. They're not going to do that all the time, but a lot of them will, especially when you brought them in to be the underclass So they have a high likelihood of being in poverty. That's going to engender thoughts of trying to do something against the country of origin, or where they are right now, their new country of origin. America, since a lot of them probably going to be born here, they're going to want to do something because they're in this. Y'all are just bad at governing. You guys are bad at governing. And that's why Republicans are so strong, because we recognize how bad you are at governing. Now, this is hilarious. Mr. Captain Hairplugs himself, Captain Hairplug, Jamie Raskin, I will never let you live that down. Bro, you pretended to have cancer, or excuse me, maybe you had cancer, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But I saw you with that whole headband situation on Capitol Hill, talking about somebody got cancer. I've never in my life seen somebody that has cancer wear that just out at their job. Coming to find out, after the bandana came off, you had a head full of beautiful hair. Did you have a hair transplant and you were using the cancer diagnosis to cover up your healing process? That's crazy. But anyway, speaking about crazy things that Jamie Raskin says or does, here he is talking about Thomas Jefferson, founding fathers, they were illegal immigrants or undocumented or whatever you wanted to say. Check it out.
Tom Paine, who was an undocumented immigrant who came to this land in 1774, 2 years before the Revolution. Also in the 18th century, Thomas Jefferson, who was a descendant of a long line of undocumented immigrants, both on his mother's side and his father's side to the country.
The ranking member said, I think his opening sentence was, he said Thomas Paine was an illegal immigrant. My understanding was Mr. Paine was born in the UK, came to America, then a British colony in 1774. So I was just struggling to figure out how he was.
Oh, I didn't say he was an illegal immigrant. I said he was an undocumented immigrant, just like Thomas Jefferson's family was. Most of our ancestors did not arrive here with documents.
Okay, I'm gonna let him finish.
Is Thomas Paine an undocumented immigrant or a founding father, Mr. Rogers?
He's a founding father, and he's not an undocumented immigrant.
Yeah, Mr. O'Brien?
He was a citizen of the UK who went to another territory of the UK, so it was like moving from Massachusetts to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, come on now. Captain Hairplugs, really? Undocumented? If this was the United Kingdom, because the 13 colonies, including Virginia, where I'm from, the OG Virginia, which included West Virginia, if the 13 colonies were part of the UK and you came from the UK to a UK colony, you didn't go to a different country. You went to a different part of the same country. That's kind of how that works. Okay. Yes, it's overseas, but it's still part of the same country. So not undocumented. I know you're trying to make a statement, trying to be clever, but just like your hair plugs, I'm not very impressed. All right. So shout out to Captain Hairplugs himself, Jamie Raskin. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Hey, Jamie, you did that. I ain't gonna let you live that down. Don't worry about it. Anyway. So they say that illegal aliens can't vote. They say it's not really a thing that happens. Hold on. Matter of fact, I think I have Raphael Warnock. Is he saying that? Yeah. Here's Raphael Warnock, the senator over in Georgia, talking about it's not really a real thing. But then he says, well, we did get some of the illegal aliens that voted. So it's not a thing that illegal aliens vote, but you did have some illegal aliens that voted. Oh, okay. All right. Make that make sense. Oh, it's not that many, ABL. It's not that many, but one is too many. I thought it wasn't a thing at all, but it does happen. So if it happens on a small level, it can happen on the big level. But let's watch. Again, Raphael Warnock, Georgia senator, talking about illegal aliens voting, not really a thing, but it does happen.
8.2 million people registered to vote in Georgia. The Republican Secretary of State found 20 instances of non-citizens who were registered, and only 9 had ever attempted to vote. And the majority did so before 2012. This is a solution in search of a problem that does not exist.
Okay, so it did happen, but just not a whole lot according to what you found. Okay, that's what you're saying. And good grief, bro. Like, can you put your eyes back? Okay, anyway. So you're saying it has happened, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, my question would be, why are you against it? What would be your argument against it? That people can't somehow get ID? They can't prove they're here legally? I don't understand, Raphael Warnock. I always thought the things that we're talking about in the SAVE Act were normal. I've never not shown ID to go vote. I've always shown ID. I've always had to present documentation to prove who I am to register. You do that for a lot of things. Hey, you want a bank account? You want you want some basic things in this world, in this country at least. You have to show documentation that proves who you are, where you from, where you live. That's not a thing that's abnormal. Hey, you want to go to the grocery store and buy a pack of cigarettes? Let me see the identification. You want to see an R-rated movie? You might get carded for that, okay? You want to buy M-rated video? You want to buy Grand Theft Auto 6? They might card you in GameStop. But to go vote, I can just show up and say, hey, my name is Bill Gates. Give me a ballot. I'm going to vote for whoever I want. It makes no sense. What they want to do is cheat. That's why the avenue is open. Okay, now here is Senator Mike Lee talking about just how widespread the voting fraud is, okay?
In nearly every state in the union, you can apply for a driver's license as a non-citizen. And in 19 states plus the District of Columbia, you may freely get a driver's license even if you are a known illegal immigrant. Meanwhile, between 2021 and 2025, we had between 10 and 15 million people enter this country unlawfully. And so this is a gaping risk when states not only are not seeking to verify citizenship, but they are prohibited by law from doing so, so long as they use this particular procedure to register to vote. We've got a massive problem. Meanwhile, Americans overwhelmingly, like between 80 and 85% of them across this great country, believe that basic protections like voter ID are necessary, that they are common sense. There are countries all over the world that require this, and you have to show an ID when you do all sorts of things, many of which involve the United States government. For example, applying for veterans benefits, for Social Security benefits. Or when you board an airplane, you've got to show them to federal officials, TSA officers. You've got to show who you are and that you're entitled to be where you want to be and do the thing that you want to do.
There you go. Exactly. Boom. It's racist to prove who you are to vote, but everyone had no issue going out there and getting the real ID to fly. And shout out to my senator right there, Bill Haggerty. Okay, that's my senator right there in the back. Matter of fact, I got a picture of being Bill Haggerty, I think. Hold on. I'm going to try to find it right now in the air. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. I thought I had it right on my phone, but I don't. I'm going to find it eventually, though. Let's keep on moving. Let's keep on moving. And here we have Stephen Miller talking about illegal aliens admitting to getting Medicaid. Okay. I was told that the illegal aliens weren't voting, but they do. That they don't get welfare, but they do. That they don't commit fraud, but they do. Everything they say, meaning the left, about illegal aliens is a lie. But let's watch this. Let me keep on rocking.
But what we found since President Trump came into office is that the Democrats have set up a system to funnel hundreds of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. So as an example, ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid. Just volunteered that. These are the ones who are hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayers. So they aren't paying for any of their own health care in this country. It's just one example. And we've seen this over and over and over again. So under President Trump's leadership, and then of course with JD and the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, we're going to see the first ever effort in American history to reclaim the ultimately trillions of dollars that were stolen from taxpayers.
Very well said, Stephen Miller. Very well said. But we've been saying that for a while, that the illegal aliens get these benefits. So I'm glad people are in high position, high power, are echoing what we've been saying, because we all know it to be true. We all know it to be 100% true. And I found a picture. This is me and Bill Haggerty. Okay. This is at a dinner here in Tennessee. Yeah, so shout out Bill Haggerty. Shout out, and this time I think I might have been at the table. It might have been Bill Haggerty, Bill Lee. It was a few of us at the same table. So shout out to him. I met him a few times. Good guy, real good guy. Yeah, country boy type guy, but real sharp, goes hard, good dude. Shout out to Bill Haggerty, the Tennessee senator. And here's more about illegal aliens getting benefits. This is what they were able to find through Doge. I might have played this last time. I'm going to play it again because it fits in the same thing. All right, talking about illegal aliens getting benefits.
That's a jaw-dropping number. Where'd all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop too when I saw it. We were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse. And to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America. And we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came to the country as illegals, were giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and they got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, so they get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls and that many of them had voted.
There you go. There you go. There shouldn't be any on the voter rolls, but it does happen. And then when there's an emergency, you just activate a few of them or a few thousand of them, and boom, a bunch of ballots that could turn an election one way or the other. It's a security flaw that exists to be patched up. Okay, good news for the truckers. Shout out to the truckers. As I said before, some would want to say there's a trucking shortage. There is no such thing. The issue is that they want the illegal alien truck drivers to come in because they get paid pennies on the dollar. The purpose is to drive down the cost of trucking to artificially reduce inflation through lowering the floor for the wages in the trucking industry. All right. So since there's been some adjustments to that through our administration, 200,000 illegal alien truck drivers cannot renew to get their CDL.
Starting today, nearly 200,000 immigrant truck drivers will lose their ability to renew their commercial licenses under a new Trump administration rule. Wendy Liu, a lawyer, starting today.
Well, not necessarily illegal aliens, but some people who are not able to pass the test to get their CDL. Either way it goes, these people are the ones driving the cost down, and American English-speaking people will be able to get these jobs at a higher rate. A lot of guys say, you know what, I'm cool on trucking because they're not trying to pay anything. You know, guys said trucking at one point was a good career, but then when they brought in all the illegal aliens and stuff like this, they're trying to reduce the cost. They're trying to invest into AI. They want to have driverless trucks, trying to reduce the cost. Just ultimately trying to X out American workers. And we see what that does. When you try to X out American workers, when you offshore things, where you try to bring in AI, where you try to bring in slave labor, it just... What would the actual American worker do for a living? Now, okay, speaking about trucks, so there's a car theft ring in Michigan. It's in Dearborn, Michigan. Now, I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to tell you their names, and you'll never guess what the Muslim car thieves' names are. You'll never guess. Let's watch. It's just music, but I'm going to just read the caption here. It says 400 stolen cars with 40 million smuggled from Michigan to the Middle East. Okay. So you got they loading cars on the trucks, putting them on the ships, sending them overseas. 400 cars were recovered off of these trucks. Now, I wonder who was driving these trucks. Were these legitimate companies, illegitimate companies? How did they get their CDL? Did they pick it illegally? How was this busted? You see, you got the feds out there, Homeland Security. How was this busted? I wonder, do you think that it would have been busted under the Biden administration or under Trump? Maybe cracking down on illegal aliens getting their CDL could have helped. Maybe requiring English could have helped. Maybe sending Homeland Security, Border Patrol, etc. to get rid of these illegal aliens. Maybe that could have helped. I don't know. But anyway, their names. Okay, we got two guys. And I'm not lying to you at all. Muhammad 1 and Muhammad 2. I'm being so serious. Muhammad number 1, Muhammad number 2. The first Muhammad is Muhammad al-Hilo. The second Muhammad is named Muhammad al-Ali. I'm not making this up. You can't make this up. All right. Shout out to the Muslims, but Rogue. I mean, come on. What are we doing? Can we get some name variation a little bit? Everybody can't be named Muhammad. I mean, goodness gracious. Everybody can't be named Muhammad. Anyway, let's keep on going here. Now, where are we going to go? We're going to go to California, the ballot, the petition fraud. A lot of homeless getting paid a bunch of money to fill out these forms. I'm going to just show you what's going on here, okay? And let's get a little bit of sound. And there we go. Oh, Shadow Q says Steinerberg. You hating. You hating. Is your name Muhammad as well? I'm just playing.
I came across another individual petitioning for signatures. He insisted he wasn't paying anybody, but it would turn out he's not being entirely honest.
Are you guys doing petition signatures for cigarettes?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Do you know where that is?
No.
Oh, okay. Is it voter registration?
No.
No? Well,
but he know what you are. You're like an undercover cop already. So you coming at him totally wrong. So he see you coming from a mile away. He see the camera probably. And when you talking, it's like undercover cop trying to bust him.
What is it? What is it?
Just petitions, but not for cigarettes. They just doing it for free.
Oh, really? Okay. What are the petitions? What are the petitions?
I don't even know what it's doing.
This person conveniently suggests that he doesn't even know what the petitions are for and that he's not paying people to sign them. They're just doing it for free. But that can't be true because I caught this exact same individual the very next day in the exact same spot with a group of petitioners paying people to sign these same ballot initiatives.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you one. What's that for? They're gonna pay you? How much? But what's that for?
That there is another California ballot initiative petition. Getting enough signatures on this petition will put a law directly on the ballot and into the hands of the people to vote for.
Pause. Is that legal? So let's just break down what's happening here. You're paying people who are mostly homeless drug addicts to sign petitions that will get a ballot initiative put on a ballot for you to vote on, which could become a law. Is that legal to do stuff like that? I didn't think that could be. You're paying people to vote for laws, paying for votes, basically. Is that how that works?
It completely bypasses both the governor and the legislature. Signing it effectively acts as a vote to put the law on the ballot.
Yep.
Here we are in the exact same group of petitioners. You have one of them accepting a clipboard with a signed petition.
Okay.
And that would be a cash transfer in exchange for a signature on a ballot initiative petition.
There we go. So, you guys ever seen that cartoon, How Bill Becomes a Law? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So what's happening here, these people are being paid this money, and that's part of how they make their money. Okay, little odds and ends, illegal stuff, selling drugs, whatever. There's all kind of ways to kind of finagle and scam in California so you could be homeless and smoke your drugs all day. That's what's happening right there. So shout out to, I think that's Cam Higbee. Shout out to Cam Higbee for that video. And there's a lot more as far as California fraud is concerned.
Now,
let's go to our nephew, Nick Shirley, showing just how easy it is to register to vote in California. Okay. Very easy. Probably the easiest thing you ever done in your life is registering to vote in California. Now, someone said that's a good thing, right? Because that's your civic right, your civic duty, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. But at the same time, you're making it so easy that anybody can do it, which would rob you of your right to vote. Check it out.
Now, this is the register of voters right here. And I want to ask him, why don't you need voter ID to vote here inside of California? I was curious, how come in California you don't need voter ID to vote?
Because when you sign your affidavit, you're swearing that you're telling us the truth, and we compare the signature that you put on your application to the
battery 65%.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it leaves any room for error with voter ID, or? Yeah, I'm just like curious because I want to make sure that like our elections are as fair and honest as possible, and I feel like voter ID is just something super simple to have. And do you think it's possible like illegal migrants could be voting?
Not really. How? I mean, what's showing their ID?
Yeah, if they don't have their ID and they could just sign on behalf of Richard Sherman.
But she don't know. She don't know. You asking Miss Johnson about this, she has no idea. All she gonna do is what she told her to do. She has no clue. Normies don't know this information. We know, so we got to be able to educate. But she has no idea what's going on. Okay, you got to talk to the big boss. He might know, maybe, but he probably don't either. And people like Gavin said that he can't even read. So if the leader can't read, then how about the people that's under him? Are they going to be super big brains? Not necessarily all the time. And she's just working. She don't know.
They could technically vote, right?
Yeah, they would be lying. They would be lying. Again, people like this, normies, they're not going to get it. So it's okay for her not to know that. It's okay.
Yeah, but what if they just don't care? What if like Richard Sherman and Billy Bob Joe just don't care? But so you don't think illegals would ever vote, would you?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know, people that are at these front desk jobs, they're not really going to think anything about that. They don't think anything about that because they think that prosecution will actually happen. But it's California. You could pretty much do anything in California and get away with it. Okay, you could do whatever you want in California. You want to smoke crack openly in front of a police station, knock yourself out. You want to vote illegally? You want to be here illegally? They had children harvesting marijuana on a farm. It's like, really? You got kids on the farm harvesting weed, illegal aliens? That's just ridiculous, man. I understand you got the essays out there, framing houses. Okay, I get that. But children harvesting weed, that's California for you. That is California. All right. So here's a little bit more from Nick Shirley's video on the hospice care fraud over in California. Check it out.
Here in Van Nuys, California, massive fraud is taking place with hospice. For instance, this location, Miracle Healing Hospice, billed over $1.3 million. Medicare paid them $966,000. Something interesting about this location. If you come right here to Miracle Healing Hospice, and if you want to knock on the door, nobody's going to answer because nobody's actually inside. And so this right here is a prime example of the millions that eventually accumulate to billions of dollars of fraud taking place here inside of California with these things like hospice, home health care, adult day health care as well. And something interesting about this location, these are all hospices. All of these are hospices. But what's super interesting about this is if you take a look at the parking lot, the cars that are in here, you have a Cybertruck, you have a brand new BMW. Over there you have 3 really nice cars, a BMW, Mercedes, and a Mercedes. And these locations are billing millions of dollars. For instance, Guardian of Angels Hospice and Blossom Hospice, they're also here. They've actually fled the location. They billed $4.8 million and $3.4 million. Massive fraud taking place here inside the state of California.
Of course, it's all fraud. It's all fraud. So like I was saying in my video, you wondering why somebody could be at the gym at 2 p.m. and they got money. It's like, okay, what do you do? You know, I'm in billing and coding. Like they say something generic whole time is fraud. So when you see people on Instagram, that's, you know, the comparison, thief of joy. You're comparing yourself to somebody that just might be a straight up fraudster. I've seen that quite a bit on these Instagrams, on these internets. You see people's lifestyle and you try to emulate it, not knowing that the person was stealing and committing fraud to achieve that lifestyle. And even if there's not outright illegal fraud going on, there is a fraudulent type of atmosphere to the whole thing because they're presenting something that's not necessarily true. They're renting things. They're making you believe an image that's not necessarily their everyday life. It's just a snapshot of what they want you to see. I'll go rent a house that I don't live in put a bunch of content in there, release it over 3 months, and you think that's how I live every day. Meanwhile, I'm in an apartment and I got roaches on my wall. That's kind of the way the internet is. And to a further extent, when you're talking about people that have a lot of things in your regular everyday life, that could be straight up stolen through fraud, like I do in California, Minnesota, etc. All right. Now, this is going to be about California NGOs and how they operate in California a little bit more. Some more of that kind of fraudulent type stuff. This is from the Charlie Kirk Show. And RIP to Charlie. Shout out to James O'Keefe and everybody else on the panel. Let's keep on rocking.
This part shocked me when I watched it. Cut 28.
The law enforcement officers sitting nearby on Skid Row every single day don't know the California laws and plead ignorance. It begs the question, what are they even doing? Officer Maravilla of the LAPD dismissed it as a, quote, civil lawsuit.
Do you know a lot of these people here that are making homeless sign petitions and paying cash for it?
I haven't seen them. I mean, I've seen when they signed some type of paperwork, but I didn't know what they were doing. And I saw them at that, right here at the light over here in the back.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it was for. Like maybe like 2 weeks ago, I saw them signing for something, but I didn't know if they were getting like money in exchange.
Yeah, I think they're getting like $2-3 from what I observe. Yeah. Is that legal?
I mean, if it's non-profit, I mean, you're signing it. It's a consensual. It's more of a civil thing.
Correct. I don't know what the police officers are actually doing there.
It's infuriating.
I mean, it's so crazy and surreal. I mean, there's another video clip in this 40-minute long video where the NGOs actually pretend to be the police in order to intimidate me. I mean, we're not living in America. I don't know what this even is at this point, but I know what your audience wants. You want arrests and not exposure. You want arrests. So in order to achieve that objective, you have to have exposure. There is no arrests without exposure.
Correct.
And you have to have exposure compounded over and over and over again. Specifically, people say there is no voter fraud. This is cash money on tape given to the homeless person from someone taking advantage of them, telling them who to vote for. And that's a felony. And this is a developing and breaking story, and you're going to see arrests in the next few days.
Well, I hope so. You know, it is California. And the thing about it, you can have arrests take place. Now, I hope the feds jump in here, of course. But you can have arrests take place. But what will the actual prosecution be? Will there be any prosecution? Will there be any kind of accountability going on? And if there's not accountability, will this practice continue? And if it does continue, then the system that they have over there, as far as their voting, is a joke, because you're committing straight up crimes to achieve a certain thing. And if that's going on, you're always going to be within the death grip of the Democratic Party on the left coast. You know, people say, oh, it's not us, ABL, it's just these Democrats, man. They're always going to be there if that's going on. Now, speaking about Democrats and boondoggles and whatnot, have you guys seen the Nature Bridge to Nowhere? Now, you know what? This is in California. If you guys know the exact location, let me know, but it's in California. Now, the purpose is to link this part of the road to that part of the road to allow wildlife to safely cross, so there will be fewer collisions, because they come down from these hills and they come across this road and there's crazy collisions, car wrecks, people might die, etc. So again, the point is to link it from these hills over here. But there's problems with that. Even if they are able to successfully, and if they're able to complete it successfully, there's going to be problems. And they can't complete it right now because some NGO is blocking it because they're environmentalists and they don't want certain things to happen. But if they do complete it, there's going to be a problem because, look, this is the proposed bridge. It's a proposed path. You can see all these hills. Now, there's hills over there and there's housing over here. If you link these two together with this land bridge, what you're going to have are fewer collisions with wildlife, but you're also going to allow the cougars and whatnot to just roam across this area and go right into the residential area. The street was like a boundary in between the cougar area and the residents. You will still have some that crosses, of course, but it's going to be a lot more with a straight up bridge to get straight to where they want to go. So what's going to be the best option for them to complete this or for them to scrap this? If they complete it, they may reduce collisions. But if they complete it, they're also going to increase human to predator contact because it'd be easier for them to cross over into the residential area. Exactly. They put up a sign. Hey, come over here. You want some humans to munch on or attack? Hey, we got a brand new bridge for you. Okay, we got a brand new bridge. Now, that bridge costs billions of dollars hold on. 114 million, not billions, 114 million so far on this bridge that has not been completed. $114 million. This one in Colorado was like, I think 15 million. This is in Colorado and it's already complete. It didn't take much time to complete, but as you can see, this is a much better area to do this because it's not residential. It's like a wide open expanse. If there were a lot of collisions here, you're going to fix that problem without any kind of other issue because again, both areas are like the same. It's not residential in one and wild on the other. So this is a logical thing. It makes sense. It got done for a lot less money and a lot less time. But that's a difference in governance between California and Colorado. If you have more Californians to go to Colorado and vote for what they want, you will see the same thing happening in Colorado as it's happening right now in California. And you already got quite a bit of that because of the drug kerfuffle. They legalized weed. And when they did that in Colorado specifically, or in Denver, when they did that in Denver specifically, not just Colorado, but Denver, when they did that, they brought out a bunch of other druggies who may not just stick to the weed. They're going to do all types of drugs. And not just the drugs, but their mentality. The mentality of a drug abuser came to Denver, and it changed it for the worse. And if you live in Denver, am I telling the truth or am I not? Y'all let me know. Now, this is going to be Beth Pratt. She's a left-wing activist in charge of building the 114 million so far nature bridge, okay? All right, this is going to be her. Now, I have a question for California. I have a question. Where are the men at? Because whenever I see anything that's being done at all, it's a woman, except for Gavin. So you got, who's that? The mayor, Karen Bass, Los Angeles. Remember the Bulldagger fire chief when there was no water to put out the fire? Where are the men at? I don't really understand. But let's watch.
When we started stage one and we're waiting to start stage two, the world changed beneath us though. This spring, construction costs increased considerably. And although we were holding reserves to finish construction, all those are exhausted at this point because of tariffs, inflation, and so many other factors impacting construction projects, not just ours. So we need your help one more time to get us to the finish line and help us build back those reserves so that we can ensure that we finalize construction by November so we can all cut that ribbon together. What a moment that will be. And like you, I can't wait to see that first mountain lion cross. The promise to P22 will be fulfilled and the Santa Monica Mountain wildlife will have a future because of all of you. Please donate today to Save LA Cougars, and we're going to complete this together, this dream that we started. Thank you for being a part of it.
Okie dokie. So, you know what? You guys are asking a few questions like, what's that in this person's hand? That is a teddy bear mountain lion. That is a stuffed toy, a stuffed animal, a stuffed toy mountain lion. And she said she cannot wait for the first mountain lion to cross. So we know that that's going to be the case. And they're going to go right there to the residential area. Okay. I mean, as long as y'all cool with it, hey, check it out. If you're living right there across from the nature crossing, make sure you got a rifle on you because when that mountain lion get up on you and they get aggressive, you got to go ahead and just make a decision. All right. And that mountain lion creep into your yard and it has your cute little poodle and its clutches, you got to be a dead shot, accurate, hit right between the eyes, boom. And hopefully your poodle will be saved. All right, there we go. So is that a woman or a man? I think that's a woman. I'm not getting it's man vibes from this person. Yeah, I think that's a woman. And if it's not, then I'm flabbergasted. If that's a man, then the testosterone levels of a man got to be totally just not even existent. It's like he got a testosterone removal. That's a woman. And if it's not, I'm totally flabbergasted. But anyway, let's keep on moving. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, here's a tidbit of information. California is no longer the number one state people move from to go to Idaho. Again, California is no longer the number one state people move from to go to Idaho. Guess what state is number one right now? Let's check it out.
Guys, did you know that the majority of people who move to Idaho are no longer from California? Realtor.com released a study article about the fact that the majority of people who move to Idaho are no longer from California. They are actually from Washington. California is number 2 on their list, but the third state kind of surprised me. Number 3 is actually Utah, and I understand that we are bordering, but I honestly thought it was going to be Oregon. What are your guys' thoughts on the fact that California is no longer top on the list? Guys.
Okay, what do y'all think about that? Now, that's kind of surprising because everybody's leaving California. California is like an exodus type of place right now. But maybe a lot of those who wanted to leave have already left. Maybe there was a big rush to leave and go to like Coeur d'Alene and Boise and whatnot, and the rush has died down. And those who live in California right now, maybe they want to go to Tennessee. That's the hot spot is Tennessee. And it's been a hot spot for a while. They come to Tennessee. They go to Nashville. That's their thing. In-N-Out Burger, Whataburger, Starbucks, all kind of California stuff has now made its way in Central Tennessee. Then they go to Texas. They go to Florida a little bit. But that's more of a New Yorker, an ex-NYC person go to Florida. But a lot of them, South Carolina, they're all over the place. You know, people I know from California, they go all over the country, everywhere trying to find a place. But Idaho is no longer the number one state people move from to go to Idaho. All right. So, yeah, RIP Idaho. Hey, if you live in Idaho, my prayers out to you because I know these Californians are going to go in there and do some silly things. So hopefully you guys are able to hang on to what you have and don't lose it to the Californians by the massive invasion of the California people. I hope you get good Californians because there are a lot of good California people. A lot of them mean well. They're smart. They're educated. They do good. But the key is for them to not vote how they may have voted where they're from. If they're a liberal person, they can't vote that way anymore. Now, the good part is you're getting a lot of conservative guys, too. A lot of conservative guys and girls are moving from California because it got too liberal. But when you live in a place like California, it's easy to get wrapped up into being a liberal person without knowing it. You think you're conservative, but really you're more liberal than anything. Now, speaking about California, here's Trump on Gavin Newsom saying that he's not necessarily the sharpest knife in the drawer, self-admitting that he's not necessarily a super genius and he might have a hard time reading. Watch this.
You know, because Gavin Newsom has admitted that he has learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but not for my president. I think a president should not have learning disabilities, okay? And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The President of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia, everything about him is dumb. But then he looked at the audience and said, "What, I'm smarter than you," or something like that. That was pretty silly. So now on top of everything else, I call him a racist because it happened to be a black audience. I will tell you this. I think it was the worst interview I've ever seen of any human being in my life, okay? Anybody else have any questions? You know, because...
Hey, that was pretty well done. And, you know, he's referencing the kerfuffle in Atlanta, speaking to Andre Dickens, the mayor, talking about, yeah, I'm just like you. I had a low SAT score. Andre was like, excuse me? I'm a chemical engineer. He didn't say that, but that's kind of what his body said, because Andre is like a super big brain. His daughter's a lawyer and all that, so it's not even like that kind of party. But Gavin was trying to relate to the crowd. It was weird. Now, they're going to say, oh, the crowd was majority white. It's Atlanta. You know where you at. Stop playing games. Don't even do that. But anyway, yeah, everything about him is dumb. I think that anyone can see that, which is why in 2028 he'll have a hard time. he will have a hard time in 2028 trying to succeed and become the president. That's good for us because we could get our guy in there much easier. Now, I wouldn't sleep on him because he's going to be able to raise some money, but that will not help him when met with an equally well-funded campaign or one that's funded enough to compete and a brilliant person with a good marketing strategy. Anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling. And where we going to go? Okay, let's talk about New York. Some statistics from New York as far as the poverty level. You got Kathy Hochul and Mom Donnie trying to raise taxes to pay for everything that they really shouldn't be paying for. They should reduce spending so there's not as much of a burden on the taxpayer to pay all these different things, but they don't want to do that. And as a result, a lot of New Yorkers are in poverty. Let's watch.
Well,
and let's put it on the screen. There we go.
Well, an eye-opening new poverty study is another reminder how tough it is to survive in New York City. The Robin Hood and Columbia University study found 26% of New Yorkers lived in poverty in 2024. That is double the national figure of 13%. 34% of families that earn up to $100,000 say they could not afford basic needs. And 22% of families making up to $150,000 say they experienced some kind of hardship. Well,
Okay, and you know what? These numbers are crazy like that because it's just expensive in a place like New York. 34% of $100,000 a year earners can't afford basic needs. You're talking about 1/3 of those, because $100,000 is not that much, especially if that's just $100,000 net. Pardon me, $100,000 gross. It's $100,000 gross, your net going to be less. And you're in New York where it's very expensive. Now, let's go to this video here. Hold on. Before I get to that one, that's a good one. I'm going to get to this one here. This is going to be, he's a good content curator. His name is Tremel Thompson, Progressive Act. He's good when it comes to New York stuff, especially. So if you see him in the internet streets, tell him something nice. But let's watch this. This is going to be about Mom Donnie's death tax, which is going to now start at $50,000. Okay, I think it was like $5 million before. Rather than the $5 million being the threshold for the death tax, it has been reduced to $750,000. Okay, let's watch.
Mob Domney must be stopped because he think owning a home for $750,000 make you rich now. Yeah, you heard right. Because under his new tax proposal floating around City Hall, owning a $750,000 home now puts you in the rich category. Can somebody please show me where these $750,000 mansions are in New York City? Because last time I checked, trying to find a decent house in a decent neighborhood for $750,000 is already on the cheap side. But here's the part people need to understand. Right now, families could pass down about $7 million before the estate tax kicks in. Mom Donnie's proposal would drop that to $750,000. That's a 90% cut. And the estate tax rate, it could jump from 16 to 50%. But the slogan we keep hearing is tax the rich. Let's talk reality in New York City. A $750,000 home isn't rich. This is a working class house. That's a house someone spent 30 years paying the mortgage on. And when that homeowner passes away, their kids may have to sell a house just to pay the tax bill. That's not targeting billionaires, that's targeting generational wealth. Because for most families in New York City, their home is their only real wealth. And when policies make that harder to pass that down, that's how the middle class disappears. But wait, it gets better. There's talks about also raising property taxes nearly 10%, around the 9.5% increase. So now let's connect the dots. Higher property taxes, a death tax hitting homes at $750,000, and estate taxes jumping to 50%. But remember, they keep saying tax the rich. Meanwhile, the people who actually get hit are working class homeowners, the people who work their whole lives just to buy one house in the city. And this is where the bigger picture comes in, because these ideas don't come out of nowhere. They come out of the ideology being pushed by groups like the Democratic Socialists of America. Yes, the DSA. And
let's pause right there. Now, good video so far, right on point. I'm going to just pop in right here because look at some numbers. So the exemption threshold, so anything below that would be exempt from the estate tax. The exemption threshold prior to what Mom Donnie has proposed is 7.1 million. So if your estate is worth 7.1 million or above, that's when the tax kicks in. And the range is from 16% to 50%. That's the tax rate range. 16 to 50%. So let's just say, well, actually, hold on. I'm tripping. That's not the range. That's going to be the new rate. So before, the threshold was 1.1 million and a tax rate 16%. If you have a house that was worth, or an estate worth $10 million, you would get taxed 16% on that as an estate tax. If it wasn't in the trust, which is a different story. But now the newer figure would be the $750,000 and 50%. So if you have a house that's worth that much, which is not that much in New York City, and you have to pay taxes on it, you're going to have to sell it to pay the tax, because you're not going to be able to afford to pay it just outright. And why would you even, that to me, that's called them stealing your home. Hey man, but you know what? Socialism, right? We're all in this together, right? We all got to pay our fair share, right? Don't worry about it. Hey, exactly. You will own St. Andrew, you will own nothing and be happy. You will own nothing and be happy. Okay. Now that little plan right there, they plan on raising $4 billion to close the gap in the budget. What they could do is just spend less money, but that's a little bit too easy. Let's just squeeze middle class out of existence and steal their homes and raise money off of that. That's kind of what's going on here, but I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, let's keep on going here. Here's a good moment from Chris Cuomo's News Nation show where a police veteran called in talking about the violence difference between, let's say, a right-wing group called the Proud Boys and a left-wing Antifa, BLM, etc. There's a violence difference because, you know, people say, oh, it's violence on both sides, ABL. It's violence on both sides. We know that it's one-sided. The violence is one-sided, and we all know it. Let's hear this fantastic takedown from an anonymous caller on Chris Cuomo's show. Check it out.
What's your question?
Chris, I just had a follow-up to last night. You seemed miffed by one of your guests saying that Biden arced up the temperature, and I agree with you that he personally didn't do it, but I was a police officer for 26 years, and I've never seen violence in any right-wing protest as bad as I've seen in the left. And all the way up to George Floyd, it's been horrible. Like when you hear that, let's say the Proud Boys are coming to town, we're like, oh, okay, we got to walk for a long time. You hear J Block or Antifa's coming, and you know you're in for it. And I've never seen violence and things done to police officers as nasty and as vile as from the left.
I don't disagree with what you're saying because you lived it, not me. And I've certainly seen horrible things in protests that I've been standing in and covering. I'm not disputing that. But again, my problem wasn't with that. It was just leaving out the other half. How can you leave out MAGA and the demagoguery of what this president has been about in a conversation about how things have gotten to where they are? I mean, to me, it's like that's like cognitive dissonance.
These statements, there's no doubt about it, but it doesn't seem to enrage people the way it does on the left. So whatever Trump's doing, it really agitates the people on the left, but it doesn't agitate the people in the middle or the far right enough to do what the left is doing. And I think that's where the disconnect is in the way people are thinking. Maybe. You're looking at one side and saying, yeah, and some of the things he says I don't agree with, and they're cringy, but it doesn't cause people to come to the streets.
Exactly, 100% correct. See, we don't do that on the right. We're not the ones going out there acting the fool in the street because something that somebody said, whether it be Trump or Biden or whoever. We don't do that. But it's them on the left who engage in the violence. And it's been that way for a very long time, for years. Throughout Trump's entire time in office since 2015, it's been a consistent pattern. It's been a pattern. And then some of the violence becomes fraud, like it was with Black Lives Matter. there's a lot of fraud happening with Antifa and whatnot as well. It's violence, it's fraud, it's everything bad, it's everything wrong with the country. It comes from the left. That's just the truth. Now, I'm not saying that the conservatives are perfect, but tell me the equivalent thing that we do that they do when it comes to the crime and the violence. You're not going to be able to find it. You're not going to be able to find it. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, do you know that Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, has a crazy security detail of Chicago police? He has 150 Chicago Police Department officers, and it costs taxpayers $22.5 million a year in salaries alone. Likely $30 million when you're talking about overtime and everything else. Okay, let's watch this right quick. All that for one guy. Now, I understand you got a big city and you're a mayor, you could be a target, but do you need all that? Do you need all of that? Like, what's going on? Let's watch.
Over the last week, I've literally interacted with over 300,000 plus real Chicagoans who say that it is hate speech for you to evoke the Civil War, to evoke bringing back the Confederacy, to say that law enforcement is a sickness when you yourself have over 150 sworn police officers on your detail. What do you say to these people, and will you ask your 150 sworn police officer CPD detail to stand down if you and your wife Stacy are ever attacked, shot at, or rammed with a protester vehicle?
First of all, I'm sorry to hear that your numbers of interactions have gone down.
Okay, I played this before, but you get the idea. You get the idea. He's not really going to answer the question, but people like this always do this. They'll go out and say, we got to defund the police, we got to defund this, and we got to defund that. But when it comes to me, hey, I need my security, I need my detail, I need what I need. You know, we got to spend all this money on these cops to protect me. I'm important. I'm more important than you are. We cannot have ShotSpotter in the neighborhood that's racist. We cannot do anything else because that's just going to go against what we're about. And we got to spend money on the migrants as well. Let's raise property taxes through the roof. Okay. And now I wanted to play this one. This was a good one because he was talking about trying to hire more black firefighters. I have a unique take on this. Well, I have an informed take on this. Maybe a little bit more than Brandon Johnson, potentially, perhaps. Let's just see what he says about the effort to hire more black firefighters in Chicago.
And what I have done is I'm working with our HR because that's where hiring rests as we work to recruit more and more people to become firefighters, and particularly young black folks. To your specific question, I've made a commitment to the entire department that I would continue to use my platform to encourage more black young people to go into this profession, and also ensuring that our HR department has fair practices that allow for more of black applicants to be in the rotation for strong consideration. It is something that I have my eyes on, and what I have done is I'm working.
Okay, now about black firefighters, my dad at one point, he was a firefighter, and at one point he was a recruiter, and his objective was to hire more black firefighters. That was his whole thing. Okay, that's right around the time I was going to be a firefighter because it would have been a shoe-in. Okay, I'm black. My dad's a firefighter. Everybody like him. I'm the same as him. It's going to be, easy breezy. But anyway, he had some success, but what he told me was that a lot of black folks, black men specifically, because that's going to be the majority of your force is men, that we didn't want to do it until we got a felony on our record that made us ineligible. You can be a firefighter, or at least back then you could be a firefighter with certain little things on your record, a certain kind of criminal record. But if you got drugs, like that's going to be an automatic no from the fire department. And I think maybe if you had like a violent crime involving a gun, you couldn't be a firefighter. I don't know what the standards are right now in Virginia, but that was the issue that he kept running into was guys didn't want to do it until they had already made a bunch of mistakes in their life and they really were not eligible to go ahead and go in. So when you're talking about trying to get more black firefighters, you got to start from an early age. You're trying to recruit adults who have no desire to do that. You need to go out into these communities and get them when they're very young. Maybe get them into an academy or something like this and steer them in that direction. It's a lot of guys that could do it, but you got to start early. You're trying to get adults, it ain't going to work. You're talking about HR. That's going to be That's going to be your whole DEI thing. You're not going to get quality people. You're going to get underperformers, and they're going to flame out, and then it's going to be about racism, even though it's not. You're just not getting really good quality people, and you're not getting them ready from a young age. It's just that simple. But Chicago, man, they don't really treat, I don't know. They got people over there they kind of just ignore. Chicago's weird. It's a beautiful place, but it also kind of sucks. Okay, let's keep on rocking and rolling. I'm gonna show a firefighter parade right quick. This man right here is 104 years old. Winston-Salem's first black firefighters. One of Winston-Salem, North Carolina's first black firefighters. I'm gonna show you firefighter parade just because, and then I'm gonna keep on moving. Are you getting up? Okay. And you get every truck. Well, you got every truck in the department out there. So shout out to him. See, guys like that, there's a lot of guys like that. They don't really make a lot of guys like that anymore. Guys like that, if you have a lot of guys like that out there now, then you have a lot more black firefighters out there. So shout out to him, 104 years old out there in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. All right. Now, this is going to be some of the issues with TSA. Have you guys been traveling? Look, listen. I need to travel. I got places to go. I got some places I need to go. I got to go do some things. So I want to travel, but right now, listen, the TSA situation, Congress, Democrats, we don't care about Alex Pretty and Rachel Nicole Good, okay? They got what they had coming to them. You guys are holding up the DHS funding because you want to reform ICE. There is no reform necessary. There's no need to reform anything. Keep the party going. Refund the government, keep everything going. Turn the lights back on at DHS because there's no purpose in reforming ICE. There's no need to do anything. They're doing everything just right. Rachel Nicole Good got what she had coming to her. Alex Pretty got what he had coming to him. I don't want to see things like this. This is going to be a power outage at Denver. So you got a power outage combined with the TSA staff shortage. You have in complete mayhem at the airport. Okay, I'm not traveling right now. It's just too much going on. It's just too much. Even if it's cool at one airport, I go to the next airport, my destination, and then it's chaos. And don't let it be a connecting flight. Oh my goodness, you got more points of failure that are there. Atlanta's okay, but then Charlotte might be a mess. And then Denver might be a mess. Dallas might be a mess. LAX is a mess all the time anyway. Yeah. So if you're traveling, God bless you. Now, here's my airport I always fly out of. Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson. I know this area very well. I've been in this area over here a lot. I know it like the back of my hand. Some say it's hard to get around Hartsfield, Jackson, Atlanta airport, but really it's easy. If you've been there like more than once, you just start to realize that all you got to do is follow the signs. You follow the signs, you'll be okay. And when you feel lost, it'll be somebody right there, like this right here, obviously wearing airport clothing. You can ask for some assistance, and they always got an answer for you. So just look at the signs, and don't be afraid to ask a question to somebody that's right there, right next to you, who appears to be an airport employee, and you'll be just fine. But let's watch this.
Frustration is growing at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, where TSA lines have hour-long wait times. We're giving you a live look this morning on the inside of the terminal, and you can see officials are blaming the partial government shutdown and TSA call-outs as workers go without pay for these long lines. Well, mornings are the worst, and the airport says you want to arrive at least 3 hours early. Authorities say it could get worse as lawmakers are still stalled on a Homeland Security funding deal. Frustration is growing.
All right, there we go. So that's what's happening out there in Hartsfield-Jackson. Now, I was reading some comments right here. Say you might as well just drive. Hey, you might as well, if you got a place that's not that far away, especially, you might as well go get on the road and just drive. Might as well get on the road and drive. All right. But yeah, shout out to Atlanta Airport. A big airport. It can be an intimidating airport. A lot of people around, but it's easy to navigate once you get used to it. Very easy to navigate. Like I said on my live stream, and shout out to you guys who were on the live stream last night. Hartsfield-Jackson, all you got to do, what I do, I just drive from where I live, Chattanooga, about a 2-hour drive. It's kind of far, but it's not that bad once you get used to it. It's pretty simple to make the drive. Straight down 75, straight shot. I park at the little shuttle place, and then the shuttle right behind me. Right when I park, the shuttle is right there, right? Pick me up, put my bags in the thing, take a little 10-minute, 5-minute drive in the shuttle to right in the front of the airport, right at where I got to be. Usually Delta. I go in. The TSA is right there. I go to the little bathroom right there in front of TSA, then go to TSA, 15 minutes. At a TSA, I go a little bit up, elevator, escalator down, plane train right there. Okay, where I got to go? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, I got to go to Concourse C. Hop on the train, hold on, don't fall over, get off, go up the escalator. I'm there. Easy, easy breezy. When it's time to go, I just go back the same way. Follow the signs to ground transport, plane train, and then go up at the end of the train, follow the sign to ground transport, and I'm good to go. Hop back on the shuttle and back to my car. Easy. Now, this is about TSA pre-check. The thing about pre-check is that line might be long as well, but we'll talk about it regardless. Check it out.
Over the last few days, almost 1 in 10 of the TSA officers working are calling out sick. That's 5 times the normal rate. So for flyers, what can you do? 1, check the website of the airport you're flying out of. That will usually have up-to-date travel times. If you have pre-check, there might be a hack that you don't know about yet. Notice this other line over here, TSA pre-check, the touchless ID line. You want to sign up for that. You have to opt in to touchless ID through the airline you're flying, but it's a bit like the express lane for TSA pre-check. You'll get a special icon on your boarding pass, you'll get a special lane, and it's facial recognition. It can be much faster, and not every flyer has it, so it will save you some time at the airport.
Okay, so how you feel about that? Do you guys want to do the Face ID TSA? Are you guys feeling that? I know a lot of people are not going to be liking that too much, but that might not be even available everywhere. You try to do the TSA pre-check, the line going to be as long as the regular line, if not longer. And that might be incorporated into the pre-check line. It may not be a separate line. It all depends on where you fly from. If you got a small airport, it's probably going to be a lot better than the bigger airport from what I'm able to gather. I think a lot of the longest times you got to wait are at the big hubs. Dallas, maybe Atlanta. I suppose New York. I would presume New York, but maybe not. All right, let's keep on going. And where we at here? So driverless cars, driverless trucks, I should say. How you feel about driverless trucks? And do you think that these so-called driverless vehicles are truly driverless? Hold on, matter of fact, I have a video I want to show you guys. I got a video that kind of fits in here. Do I have it? I thought I had it, but maybe I'll be able to bring it back up in a minute. I'm going to find, oh, here it is. Here it is. So this man is remotely operating an excavator in China from a display in Las Vegas. Okay. Again, he is remotely operating an excavator, a big digging machine, an excavator in China from a display at the Con Expo in Vegas. Check it out.
Simulation, not a video game.
And RIP to the headphone users. Sorry for the loud noise. Start from the top.
Simulation, not a video game. You're literally remote controlling. Simulation, not a video.
Now, you see the technology is right there in front of your face. Now, some might say, oh, this is fake. It's just a video. All right, keep thinking it's fake. They already got the technology. They're showing you with the Waymo, because that's what that is a little bit. It may not be quite like this, but it is, because they said, oh, well, the Waymo's not being driven by the guys over in the Philippines, but they can input commands. What does it actually mean, input in the command? You can input a command with a video game joystick. You can input a command by saying something that would make the thing do the same thing a joystick would do. What does it mean when they say that you're just helping it with inputting commands? Maybe they're remotely driving it, just like what's happening right here. You got the screen, you got your little joystick, you're in the car like you're driving, but you're not driving the car right in front of you. You're driving the car thousands of miles away. So the technology is there. I would not be surprised if Waymo was actually doing that. I will not be surprised. The latency is way too high. Well, they might be able to, like, let's say, for example, in the Waymo, they might be able to see kind of what you're doing in real time and make decisions that may not happen necessarily real time, but they rely upon the AI to help with some real time decisions. For example, if you have a newer vehicle, you may have a lot of things that assist you. Like, I was backing up in my F-150, or one of my other cars. I think it was the F-150. So I'm backing up in that, and it just stopped automatically. Like, it put on the brake automatically. I did not push the brake, but the brake happened automatically. That is an AI feature, because it has sensors. It can tell, okay, I'm too close to something. Something's coming. We got traffic over here. I'm going to stop automatically. So things like that can be in the Waymo that would assist it in just regular everyday conditions. But then when it comes to more difficult maneuvers, that's when Pancho from Quezon City, Philippines is going to pop on with the PlayStation controller and the foot pedal and drive it manually. Does that make sense? Anyway, let's keep on going. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. All right, hold on. Now, here's an example of a Waymo, again, with Pancho calling, like, yo, lady, you need to go ahead and tighten up. Okay, it's a little bit of custom right here, so if you got little kids, cover their ears. But she is having a time of her life, okay, in the Waymo, partying, dancing, you know, ain't nobody driving, having a good old time. And then the Waymo spoke to her, and she got a little bit humble, as you can see by the face right there. Check it out.
Hey, bitch, go faster, hoe.
Connected to rider support. This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
Hello, this is Jay with Waymo. I'm just calling in just to request to buckle your seatbelt for your safety.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Where are you?
I'm doing it right now. Okay, I'm buckled in.
All right. Thank you for complying. That's all for me. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, man, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm straight. Now, I'm not going to be acting the fool. First of all, I'm not going to be in the Waymo. I'm not going to be doing all that. And I always wear my seatbelt. I'm not the kind of person to just sit in my car like a barbarian with no seatbelt on. But I don't want that to be happening to me. I don't want my car to be trying to tell me commands. Hey, man, put your seatbelt on. Nah, I'm good. Don't worry about it. But, hey, that's what Waymo is. So, was that Pancho? Was that Melody? I don't know who that was on the phone from the Philippines, but that was most certainly not an American. Thank you for complying. All right, I know what that voice is. I know a Southeast Asian when I hear it. And again, I can't be racist making that joke because I am 1% Filipino for real. All right, there we go. So do you guys like Waymos? Is that you like getting in those? You enjoy those? All right. You are being watched. You are being surveilled. You are being recorded. And you will be given commands occasionally. And there's some remote driving going on that you cannot see. there's a person driving the vehicle sometimes that you're not going to be able to see. But it's all good though, right? You have no driver in the car, so it's better, right? It's safer, right? Okay. Now, here's a little bit more about Jasmine Crockett's bodyguard and that whole kerfuffle. Quote unquote, Mike King, aka Diamond with no D on the end. Diamond Mazar Robinson, the repeat offender with multiple mugshots. Here's my question. How was this not found out? You're Jasmine Crockett. You are a sitting member of Congress. Anyone who gets next to you should be vetted thoroughly. There's a lot of resources that you have access to, Jasmine Crockett, that we don't have. So I think you might have been set up here because in the off chance that you win your primary against James Talarico, which was not the plan, but if you did win, they can spring that on you and damage you that way. But let's watch this, shall we? All right, and RIP in advance to the headphone users.
Jasmine Crockett has now confirmed what CBS Texas was first to report last week exclusively through our JD Miles. Her office now acknowledging a convicted felon who was a wanted fugitive when he was killed by police last week did work on her security team. And Dallas police have also released body cam videos that show the shooting of that man who they say illegally masqueraded as a law enforcement officer for years.
He was her right-hand man. He was her bodyguard. He was the one standing next to her.
Those who knew him. Right-hand man. I thought it was just a guy who was part of the security detail. He was on there for a while. Right-hand man. Say it ain't so. Not the felon, not the career criminal. Your right-hand man. Anyway.
Standing next to her.
Those who knew him as Mike King say he presented himself as a professional bodyguard for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Upon meeting him, he did show me his Capitol Police ID. He had a Capitol Police pin on his shirt.
Janice Crowther is a retired Dallas police officer who now works as a dignitary protection specialist. She says the man she called Mike took this photo of her with Crockett during a campaign stop she was hired to work last year. Last week, the Congresswoman's bodyguard led Dallas police on a chase to a hospital parking garage, where body cam video shows he was shot and killed after pulling a gun that authorities say was stolen. It turns out that King's name was actually Diamond Mazare Robinson. The 39-year-old had multiple convictions for theft as recently as 2017, before changing his name, which authorities say allowed him to not only become Crockett's personal bodyguard, but also start an online business helping law enforcement officers find off-duty work.
He's very good at hiding his true identity.
Police say it was stolen government license plates from a Navy office in Irving that finally got police onto him last week in downtown Dallas.
Robinson had been using fictitious information and wearing police-style uniforms to falsely represent himself as a federal agent.
Authorities later found 11 weapons inside Robinson's apartment. The Congresswoman's office released a statement today saying she was saddened and shocked. We are praying for the friends and family of the man that we knew as Mike King. Mike had been in and around our team for years. There was never any reason to suspect that he wasn't who he held himself out to be.
Well, I'm shocked. I'm just as shocked as I'm sure Miss Crockett was. I trusted him. I had no reason to believe that he was not who he said he was. He checked all the boxes of being a dignitary protection specialist. Well, I think this whole incident is going to bring about a change.
All right, there we go. So that is Mike King, who got himself deleted because what happened was they were trying to serve a warrant. He goes in the chase. He doesn't want to stop. They caught him in the garage out there in Dallas, and they're trying to tell him, put the gun down, don't do this, don't do this. But he had the gun, pointed at the cops. He gets lit up. He dead. And all that was happening was that they were going to serve him a warrant. It's like, bro, you already been to jail before. You about to go to jail again. Now, it would have been some serious charges because he was impersonating a Capitol Police officer, which is a federal officer. So that was going to be a big time prison sentence. And then you were the bodyguard, security guard of Jasmine Crockett, a sitting member of Congress in the House right now. So you were going to go to the penitentiary for quite a while, but you wouldn't have been dead, but now you dead. So it is what it is. RIP to him. Kind of, sort of, a little teeny bit. Anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Talk about AI a little bit about AI. All right. I think AI is a tad bit overrated, but it can do a lot of the things that previously may have been done by a human being. but there are some things that it can't do, like working with its hands. Until you can get an AI that has a humanoid form, they're not going to be able to do stuff like that. Okay, check it out.
There's basically zero reason to hire a junior engineer. Like I can't think of a single task that a junior human engineer could do more reliably than Claude Code can. I can't think, literally not one. There was some that a senior engineer can still do better, like software architecture and stuff like this. But let's be realistic. A year ago, none of this was possible. A year ago, these things couldn't, autonomously write code at all. What do you think is going to happen in 1 year? So there's a kind of so I've been in this field for many years. And the time where I first saw, oh shit, superintelligence is coming, was GPT-2. Okay. The small version, 100 million parameters. So it could barely string 2 sentences together. But when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. This is it. There's basically zero reason to hire a junior engineer. Like I can't think of a single task that a junior human engineer could do more reliably than Claude Code can. I can't think.
Now, the thing about it is this. I don't think that they are at the place where they can just replace coders, because what I hear a lot is that AI code is not very well done. It can do basic things, but when you're talking about more complex things, more complex coding, it may take a human touch, because you want to have code that won't break. And if it does break, the break can be easily identified. It's like, okay, if I'm a human being and I have a system of plumbing, I'm going to have straight pipes. I'm going to have stuff that makes sense and is easy to fix. But the AI can do it. It'll be very complicated and the whole big mess. It might get completed, but trying to fix it when it breaks is going to be a nightmare. But as AI gets better and better, it will improve and do these things much better. But again, certain things it cannot do ever is working with its hands. Until you get the great alien humanoid, whatever that is. But until then, nah. So here's Mike Rowe talking about just that. And again, Mike Rowe has been basically the real jobs ambassador, the blue collar work ambassador. I'm not saying if you don't have a blue collar job, it's not a real job, but you understand what I'm saying. He's been an ambassador of work in this country because too many of us don't want to do that. But let's watch.
We've been telling kids for 15 years to code. Learn to code, we said. Yeah, well, AI is coming for the coders. They're not coming for the welders. They're not coming for the plumbers. They're not coming for the steam fitters or the pipe fitters or the HVAC. They're not coming for the electricians. That Ideas Festival I was telling you about in Aspen, I sat there and listened to Larry Fink say we need 500,000 electricians in the next couple of years. Not hyperbole. This is me being the alarmist again. There's not a week that goes by in my humble little foundation. It's called MicroWorks, shameless plug. We award work ethic scholarships every year, right, to kids who want to learn a skill that's in demand. These are trade school scholarships. Not a week goes by.
Excuse me. Apologize for that. Let's keep on going. One more. It's like right here, tip of my nose. Excuse me.
Where I don't get a phone call from somebody like the Blue Forge Alliance, who oversees our maritime industrial base. That's 15,000 individual companies who are collectively charged with building and delivering 3 nuclear-powered subs to the Navy every year for 10 years, right? 2 Virginia, 1 Columbia class. Mind-bogglingly complicated. This guy calls and says, we're having a hell of a time finding tradespeople. Can you help? I said, I don't know, man. It's pretty skinny out there. How many do you need? He says 140,000. 140,000. Now, granted, over 7 years, but they need 80, 90,000 right now. These are our submarines, folks, right? Things go hypersonic, little sideways with China, Taiwan, whatever. Our aircraft carriers are no longer the point of the spear. They're vulnerable. Our submarines matter. And these guys have a pinch point because they can't find welders and electricians to get them built. Where are they? They said. We've looked everywhere. Do you know? I said, yeah, I know where they are. They're in the 8th grade, man. They're in the 8th grade. And the same thing, the automotive industry needs 80,000 collision repair and technicians. Energy, I don't even know what the number is. I hear 300, I hear 500,000 everywhere. So, not to filibuster, but that's the underlying thing that I just really hope people take from this conference. There is a clear and present freak out going on right now. I've heard from 6 governors in the last 6 months. I've heard from the heads of major companies in the country. It's like a memo has gone out. And people are realizing, you know something? We need to tend to this, both on the PR side and on the demographic. I don't know what to do about the retiring demography. I don't know what to do about 7 million able-bodied men choosing not to work. But I do know that the message to the young men and women in this state that a bright future awaits if they would but learn a skill that's in demand, that's going to resonate politically, that's going to resonate practically, it's going to move the needle.
There we go. So Mike Rose saying, hey, there's an alarmist thing about AI taking all these jobs. Meanwhile, there are a bunch of jobs that are in demand that pay a lot of money that are not being filled right at this moment. So it shouldn't be about what AI may take in the future, may being the key word. It'd be about what's available right now. What are the in-demand jobs right now? Because all throughout history, jobs have been in demand and then they fall off. Again, at one point, as I said before, America was 90% agrarian. It means we were farmers, 90%. And now it's not 90% and it's nowhere near 90%. It is a fraction of what it used to be because things have changed. We industrialized, we innovated, we created new things. At one point, there was no cell phone, there was no airplane, there was no automobile. Oil was not a thing that we used, but now it is. So we need to just adjust with what is in demand. At one point, we needed a bunch of coders. Now we don't. Now we need welders. Now we need carpenters. Now we need things like that to keep going forward. And if we don't produce that domestically, they're going to bring in the migrants and they're going to do absolutely terrible labor, but it's going to be labor that'll get done. Or we could come in there and do the labor ourselves and get paid money and produce nice things. You know, that's kind of what's going on. Buzz Bear says, where do you go to school to be an electrician? How much does it cost? Well, you know what? That's a great question. And you know what you could do? You have a device looking at me right now on, and I'm not being funny. I'm being so serious. You have a device you can look at me right now on. I don't know what state you're in. I don't know what city you're in. But whatever I would tell you, I would do the same thing you could do. Go on your phone. You got ChatGPT. You know what you could do? You know the funny part? AI can help you find these answers. I use Grok for research done quickly with citations so I could check it out. It saves me time to do research, but I'm going to always do my double due diligence. I wouldn't just take what they say for granted. I'm going to look into it and fact check. You can look on your Grok, on your ChatGPT, on your Claude, or whatever you use and ask, hey, how do I become an electrician? What school do I go to? How long does it take? How much does it cost? Is there any financial assistance available? Can I become an apprentice with a company and get paid to be an apprentice while can I be paid to work as I learn? Ask these questions to your AIs and you might get a good answer. Now, I know out here where I live, there are certain schools that exist. There's a school not far from me that's a lineman school. They teach you about getting on the actual line and fixing that. It's a school out here where they teach you how to climb and all that kind of stuff to do that kind of work. But I'm not sure where you live. I'm not sure what you got going on. So I would say, making a long story less long, do some research on that, and then you'll be able to figure it out pretty quickly. You'll figure it out pretty quick. Okay, but look, Grok is a really good AI. Shout out to you. Love Them Flowers says, every time I hear Grok, it sounds like a native relative of Shrek. It does sound kind of crazy, but it's a really good AI. I use it just for research purposes and to make some of my thumbnails, like some of the generic images. I use it for that. Okay. Crypto Mountain Man says trade school local unions will pay you in their apprenticeships. There you go. They will pay you in the apprenticeship. It's like when I was trying to become a firefighter. If I was to go to the academy that they have before you become a firefighter, you get paid in the academy. So they pay you to learn how to do the job. And then once you get the job, you get paid more. And then you can rise up as you get better and better, as you develop your skill, get better with age, advance in rank, or whatever the case may be. Okay. GD Vibe says, ABL, I got a welding certificate in 9 months. There we go. A welding cert in 9 months. And you know what? I'm going to tell this quick story before I move on to a couple more videos. I know a girl. I'm going to find her page. I said the story before. I know a girl, big, tall, blonde, looking like, you know, the girl. Look at those puny arms. She look like that. Big, tall, blonde, white woman. She does underwater welding. Not underwater basket weaving, underwater welding. Okay, real talk, underwater welding, making big money, traveling the country, making big money, well into the 6 figures, welding. So if a woman can do that, then a man can do that. So there's things you could do out here in this world that would push you forward in life. But the question is, do you want to do it? Do you want to take that risk? Do you want to challenge yourself to do something like that, using your hands to work? Do you want to do it? That's a question you got to ask yourself. Now, some of us rather just not work, and we'd rather ask the government, hey, what are you doing for me? How can you provide for me and make my life easier? This is going to be Caleb Hammer's show, Financial Audit. Shout out to him. And here they are talking about that right there. What can the government do for me? Check it out.
You just don't really get political like
You're
that.
a year in.
I
think both sides are evil for politics, like no matter what.
That's true. I'm honestly kind of with him on that point. Like, it's all just bad. Like, I don't...
Extremism is bad, but even still.
It's just bad.
Huh?
It's all just bad. Like, I agree that, like, the 3-letter
Some have
agencies
good
aren't
intentions.
great. I don't think the government really is out to help the common man. I think it's out to help billionaires get richer. Like, I agree
Hey,
with
we
him
have the
to
most
that.
progressive income tax system in the entire Western world, to be clear. Federal.
Okay, why is it not
be better.
helping me? Why has the system not helped anybody I know?
System,
Why is
go
the
get a better
system-
job. That's your choice to get the education you wanted.
We just don't really...
Okay, so look, there's not much more the government can do for you. What you should want is for the government to not be in your life as much as they could be. You don't want them to be any more in your life than what they already are. You should want a little bit of peace, to be left alone. The government should do things like national security, infrastructure, stuff like that. Not necessarily to help you personally, but you have a beautiful place that's well maintained, well protected, everything works. When you turn the power switch on, the lights come on. You're not getting consistent blackouts. I mean, California, but anyway, you have a good system here that you take for granted. Now it's up to you to use the system to become somebody. As I said before, you can come to America and do anything. You have opportunity here that is not available in other parts of the world. If you're to be born, let's say, sub-Saharan Africa, let's say you're born in Somalia, what are you going to do with your life if you're born in Somalia, really? What opportunity is there? They have nothing. There's no police. There's no nothing. There's no government. There's just nothing. What are you going to do? But in America, you get all kind of systems, all kind of safety nets, all kind of education opportunities, all kind of things you could do that will help you develop yourself and become somebody. But you can't just have the attitude of, they got to do something for me. Now, what are you going to do for you in the place they created for you to be able to thrive and do whatever you want? That's my question. All right, let's keep on going. Now, this is how easy it is to get someone on the wrong side, to get someone to hate one side, not the other, and not even realize that they are rooting for the wrong team. Watch this.
In solidarity with radical Islamists that you think are not as much of a threat to the country as Trump supporters, would you look at the camera and say in solidarity, Allahu Akbar?
Allahu Akbar.
Okay. And would you say make America great again in solidarity with the Trump supporters?
No. No, I'm sorry, I would not.
Who is a bigger threat?
Hey, you know what? So I'm not going to say make America great again for my fellow Americans, but I will say Allahu Akbar right in the camera. You see how easy it is to get these normies to say the tat beer. It's just that simple. Say Allahu Akbar right in the camera. Allahu Akbar. Hey man, at one point Islam spread through the sword, but now it ain't even really that. It's not even that hard. Anyway, let's keep on going.
Who is a bigger threat to America today? Radical Islamists or Trump supporters and MAGA?
Trump supporter and MAGA.
Why do you say Trump supporters?
It's just feeling ignorance and hate.
But you don't see by radical Islamists.
I mean, anything radical is not good in a sense, or if you're spewing hate and violence, but it's yeah.
Yeah. In solidarity with...
There we go. So that's the Allahu Akbar lady. I mean, people know nothing. They have no idea what's going on. They don't know nothing about nothing. And then somebody said it. They said Allahu Akbar wrong. That's blasphemy. You get 100 lashes for saying Allahu Akbar wrong. Okay, you get on your regular beach wear, your regular American at the beach or water wear. Hey man, 1,000 lashes on GP. Put this beekeeper outfit on. You get a mailbox slot. You might get a meal a day. Hey, put you in the room, chain you up, and that'll be your life. But hey, it's okay because at least you're not being oppressed by a MAGA or a Trump supporter, right? It's fine. Okay, hold on. Do I have some more here? This is really good. This is going to be Jillian Michaels. Jillian Michaels talking about big food scientists. There's food that is designed to get you to continue to eat it without taking the break for water, without doing anything other than eating. And they keep doing that because the more you want to eat it, the more you're going to buy it, which means to make more money. Now, she's having this conversation on Jubilee surrounded with a body positive person. And look, body positivity is a scam because it's not just about how you look. It's about your health. And I can tell that you're not healthy based upon how you look. All right. If you look like you have jaundice, you look like you about to just crash on the floor and pass away. If you're very, 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 very big, these are not healthy ways to be. It's not just about how you look. It's about your health. But here we are, Jillian Michaels on Jubilee talking about food scientists designing food to be unhealthy and consumed in large amounts to make money.
You have to make them addictive. They don't even want you to stop eating one chip. This is how incremental they are about this. They literally engineer. Just hear me out. They don't even want you to have to stop and take a drink of water when you're eating their chips. So they engineer how much fat is in your mouth in each bite. There are a team of multidisciplinary scientists that literally work around the clock, 24/7, day after day, year after year.
Their body positivity scientists.
No.
Okay, now she has no idea what she's talking about. Everything she's saying is going in one ear out the other. But so far, 2 observations. First of all, I'm hearing the heavy breathing on the microphone. I'm hearing the heavy breathing. And I've been around like very obese people. That's how they do. Their resting heart rate is just crazy. They're breathing heavy with doing nothing. Zero activity. Just their body trying to keep them awake is causing them to have some cardio issues, which will shorten their lifespan because they're heart working too much. They're breathing a lot. Just from sitting down, existing, they're breathing heavy. Okay. And beyond that, what she's saying so far about the food scientists designing the food to be eaten like that, that's real. That's 100% real. Because it's all about money at the end of the day.
No.
So this is the thing.
No, I'm saying
what you're describing is a misuse of science.
Yeah.
What you're describing is, what you're describing is
friction.
Business. What you're describing is capitalism. What you're describing is greed.
Yes.
Body positivity is not the reason for that.
No, I'm suggesting that I think you guys should get pretty freaking vocal and pissed because these guys are actively manipulating your message. So much, I haven't even gotten to half the shit that they do. So for example, they have effectively lobbied to remove nutrition guidelines and warning labels on food packaging because of harmful shame. It's like, trans fats are bad for your health.
Okay.
It's a fact.
They have advocated for that.
The body positivity movement, the fat activist movement, they're using message.
But see, look, here's the problem. She's saying just because we're fat activists does not mean we are in favor of what the big corporate, big food interests are advocating for. But they are, because the big corporate food interests play on those who have no problem being obese like this. They encourage you guys to eat because you are a ticket. You are a bag of money to them. They see your ilk coming in the grocery store, loading up the cart. Hey, that's what they want. That's what they want. They got space on the shelves in the store to sell you food. They don't care if you get to be 1,000 pounds, as long as some of the 1,000 pounds is their product so they can make money. That's the issue here. And the longer you keep up this whole body positivity thing, the more they will be able to just sell you harmful things to increase your bottom line. Okay, that's what's happening right here. They're using you to increase the bottom line. Okay, very, very simple. All right, but look at this right here, man. Like this, you see the difference between Jillian Michaels and a young lady? I mean, you don't want to be like that. That's going to be a miserable existence for you. That's going to be very miserable. You don't want to be like that. All right. Now, you don't got to be looking like Jillian Michaels necessarily, but good night. Good night. That's not what you want to be. All right. Now, hold on. Okay. I have one more about the driverless trucks. I almost forgot about that one. Now, how you guys feel about driverless semi-trucks? Waymos are one thing, but how about driverless semi-trucks? I'll play some of this and I'm going to get to the calls because I'm kind of running low on time here.
It looks like any other truck until you peek inside. No one at the wheel as it barrels down the road. Massive freight trucks designed to drive all on their own.
We're talking about trucks that do not have any drivers doing operations on a daily basis across the nation.
Badam Narang is CEO of Gatik, the first company to employ driverless freight trucks on U.S. public roads with no human safety driver in the cab. They're already hauling freight for major grocery chains and retailers in Texas, Arkansas, and Arizona. The goal? To increase deliveries and lower costs.
You and I, as end consumers, we want our orders as soon as possible, as cheap as possible. So our trucks are working day and night.
You say these trucks make things cheaper and faster, but for someone driving in a car to look up and see a big truck like this with no one behind the wheel, how is that safe?
Safety is foundational to everything that we do at Gatik.
We first showed you the technology in 2021.
I'm here in Arkansas for an exclusive look
when the company deployed smaller, self-driving trucks for Walmart, capable of driving up to 10 miles per route. Now, Gatik's trucks travel up to 400 miles, handling middle-mile deliveries between warehouses and stores completely autonomously. To see.
Okay, so there's more, but I'm gonna pause it right there. How you guys feel about that? Do you guys think these trucks are going to do well in mountainous areas where you can't, they're talking about they're in Arizona, Texas. A lot of this is wide open spaces. Ain't no mountains in Texas till you get to El Paso. It's like wide open plain areas. But once you get up in the mountains and you get inclement weather and snow and sleet and all kind of stuff, high wind, and the thing about it is you got to be sharing the road with them. Do you think these cars, these trucks are going to do well? And also, they have to be remotely driven at a certain point because there's sometimes where the machine is not going to know what to do. So there must be people like probably just sitting at a desk with a monitor, monitoring what's going on. And then if there's some kind of issue that it sees coming, it's going to have to act. And if the machine does not act, then the human being got to act. It's like you kind of like remote driving rather than being out there on the road. You kind of like playing a video game. But will that be a safe thing? Will that be a good thing? And then if there's an accident, if something happens, who's responsible? Would it be the driver who's not driving it, who's driving it remotely? Or would it be the company itself? Who's going to be liable for that? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think still there's going to be a need for human drivers. And since we're getting rid of a lot of the illegal aliens, they're not going to be at the CDLs anymore. You're going to have more room for human beings to actually drive trucks rather than the AI. But the AI investment and the illegal aliens were for the same purpose because they want us to lower the costs so they could artificially reduce inflation by cheapening the value of trucking. All right. Okay. Watch the movie. What movie am I watching? What am I watching? Maximum Overdrive? Like, what's going on? I'm missing the context of the chat. But anyway, let's get to a few super chats. We're going to get to the calls. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. I got super chats on that. I'm going to read these right quick. Then I'm going to keep rocking. Thank you to Marsha, who says peace and blessings. Thank you for your support, Marsha. Thank you to Rebecca Starr. Shout out to you, Rebecca, who says, I think the people who move states should have a lag time for voting, so they can't go and just vote blue no matter who, like maybe one voting season. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. So if you move to a place, let's say you move in 2019, you can't just vote in the 2020 election. Wait until the 2024 election. Yeah, wait at least like a 4-year period before you can vote for the first time. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you to Patrick McAdams for the city donation and also for the More You Learn donation. Thank you to Devin, who says any vehicle on the road should have skin in the game. I'm with you 100%. I am with you 1,000%. Hey, who's deploying the fire extinguisher? Nobody. Hey, your vehicle on fire, it's going to burn till the fire department get there. If you out there in the area that's kind of far away, it's going to burn and burn and burn until somebody gets to it, I suppose. But anyway, let's get to some calls here. The number to call again, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. All right. So me personally, no driverless, no electric. Give me a good old-fashioned human being behind the wheel of the vehicle. And if it's not that, I don't want it. And I want gas-powered. 315, hit online. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. It's Charlene from New York.
All righty. What's going on?
Thank you for taking my call. I have two things. The first is kind of trivial, but Mike Huckabee did a little video this morning with Bibi to show that he was alive. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. The second thing is, are you familiar with the PBD podcast?
Yes, I am. Patrick Bet David.
Okay, yes. Okay, they were talking this morning. I wonder how you feel about this. So it kind of sparked my attention. But they were saying this morning that they think that Trump is more in favor of Rubio, and one of the reasons is because although JD hasn't said anything negative about the war, he's kind of putting it in a way, his answers are kind of putting it in a way that he's not really favoring it, but he's not bashing Trump or anything. But they feel that he's putting Marco over Vance, and Vance is onto it. And the reason he's doing that is because of Tucker, and he kind of feels that Vance may ticket Tucker for VP.
Oh, wow. I've not heard that one as far as Tucker Carlson being a potential VP pick, but that would be a bad decision. And I think that Trump does favor Marco Rubio, but not necessarily because of the whole Iran thing. I think Marco Rubio is just better in general at what he does. And JD Vance is still pretty young. Marco Rubio, like 55 years old. Vance, 41 years old. So there's a experience difference. And the things that Rubio was doing on the job are just superior to what Vance has done so far.
Right, and that's because they feel he's given more jobs to Rubio, And that traitor, that guy that quit, he already had it in the wings to sit down with an interview with Tucker, which I'm not going to watch it, and I think it was supposed to air tonight. So it's been in the wings for a while. And Trump is on top of all of this, so. And you know that Tucker's son works for Vance.
Right.
So it's going to be I don't know, because they think that Tucker's been trying to get his foot in the door to run for president someday. Well, I just wondered how you felt about it, because they're I mean, you know them, you're aware of them. They do a lot of research.
Of course, yes.
So, any thoughts on that other than what you said?
I mean, no, not really. I think that Rubio is just a better pick overall, and Tucker has no chance of being in the administration because he is more focused on the show, and he said quite a few things in the show that are going to be inflammatory and that'll be used against him. So he has no chance of being able to run. I think Marco is an obvious pick. J.D. Vance, wait his turn. And if he doesn't want to wait, he'll just kind of fade into obscurity after the Trump term is over with.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks. That's all I had. Thank you so much for taking my call. I didn't know if you saw that short little video with Mike and BB.
I did. Yes, I did.
You don't think that was AI, do you?
I can't tell. I don't know. At this point, I have no idea. I don't know because they both look kind of weird, but I can't say whether it was or if it wasn't.
Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you for taking my call, and you have a blessed night.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Great call. Shout out to her. Let's keep on going here. Let's go to 323 online. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hello, ABL. How are you doing? This is Joanne.
I'm doing well. About yourself?
I'm doing good. Okay. I want to touch on a couple of things, particularly about California, because this is my home state, and Los Angeles is the city. Okay. You have said something about how you can live in California and be a drug addict and get free whatever. No. You can live in California and not only get like free drugs, you can get $1 million houses, Rolls Royces, Birkin bags, you name it. I've seen it, and I've been here for 40 years, so I'm kind of into the game a little bit. So it's like you look at these people, and I try not to be judgmental, but I know what it takes to buy a Birkin bag or, you know, or $1 million house. It's not, you know, everybody can't do it. And you look at these people, and I say these, the people that I could probably put in the category, and you're like, okay, so how are these people living like this in Los Angeles, and most of them don't speak English, or they're not, you know, Americans. I mean, not necessarily the English, but they're just not, you know, first generation or second generation American, whatever. They're just fresh off the boat or off the plane, however they got here, and they're living the high life. And I'm like, okay, so it's and Nick Shirley, you know, his investigation. I'm not surprised. I mean, he needs to dig in other places too, but with the fraud with the hospice situation, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, because I see it. I see people in Rolls Royces. I see people in Mercedes. I see people in, you know, in the finest of the finest. And you wonder, how are they getting this stuff? I mean, and I'm not saying, you know, people are, you know, everybody, but most people, the average person here in California cannot do that type of stuff, especially if you drive in a car and you got to pay gas prices. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, yeah. So it is a problem. I mean, California there's no secret about that, and LAX and everything else you say about LAX is true. And Waymo, I'm going to touch on that. Now, I will trust a Waymo driver any day over a driver who's just nilly-willy behind the wheel, because I'm a pedestrian most of the time, or I'm on my bike. Sometimes I drive, whatever. But I notice how the Waymo drivers are they stop on a dime. I've never had an issue with, them trying to cut me off, whatever, while I'm crossing the street. But drivers, oh yes, that's a huge problem here. So I have to give a little about to Waymo, because I believe in what they're doing as far as safety. But as far as this AI stuff, somebody in the Philippines, wherever, driving behind the wheel, I don't know anything about that. But it has not been a problem for me to encounter a Waymo here in Los Angeles, and almost every other car these days is a Waymo in Los Angeles. It seems that way, at least on the west side. So that's all I wanted to say. And, California is off the chain with the scamming and the fraud and the abuse of everything you can imagine. So, yes, but, if you've been here for a long time, you're not trying to move to Tennessee, Texas, or wherever it is. You kind of hold your fort down, because you don't want to have to get up and just move because, of the corruption. So, it's a catch-22 situation, because you can go from California, perhaps move to Tennessee, but you're going to have a lot of people there who are the same people who are in California. So what are you doing? Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. And thank you for taking my call again, and have a blessed day.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay.
All right, great call. Shout out to her. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to 818 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, wow. Didn't expect that to happen real fast. Hey, ABL. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to go ahead and add on to what the lady was sitting there saying, because I'm originally from LA myself. And I was born and raised there. Yeah, there's a lot of foreigners there. And I'll even say my father's a foreigner. My wife's a foreigner. But what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of people go there and they take advantage of the system that's there. Now, the one thing I will say that surprised me is the Armenians, because Hospice, I didn't think Armenians were the ones, the issue there. Usually they take care of gas stations or mechanics. They try to go ahead and scam people in those areas. But yeah, as far as everything going in California, between them paying the homeless to go ahead and register to vote, it's funny because I moved out to Texas and people have actually laughed. They're like, "Oh no, that stuff doesn't happen." I'm like, "Yes, it does. Illegals do vote." And I've seen it. They're like, "Well, they say, well, they're not legally allowed to." I was like, in some local elections, they are. They do. Because city council and stuff like that makes it, they allow it. But anyway, I was just wanted to go ahead and just point out more. There's a lot more corruption out there than Nick Shirley's pointing out, than a lot of people is even putting out there. I mean, I'm happy with what they're doing in Minnesota. I talked to a lot of people like myself who was born there that actually moved out to Texas, and we're all skeptical that anything would happen at all over there, because it's going to be really, really hard to do anything there. I miss home, but I couldn't go back. The corruption is just too real, especially the homeless stuff. A lot of people don't realize how bad it is. I known social workers there that try to blow the whistle, and nothing ever happens. But yeah, as far as taxes go, everything else, I mean, that's all I just wanted to say, ABO, and thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
859 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
All right. Hey, how's it going, ABO? I'm just chilling out, playing some Hitman Call of Duty, and just chilling. What's up with you, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Those self-driving cars. Somebody just made a reference from the movie Maximum Overdrive, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
I mean, if Maximum Overdrive does happen in real life, I mean, that's the prime example right there. The machines are turning on us,
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you very much for taking my phone call, ABL. Much praise. Unfortunately, Venezuela, the crime rate ever since we grabbed Maduro, which good idea to grab that guy because he's wanted. the crime rate went up 15%. Not only that,
the crime rate where?
Venezuela.
In the whole country, or just like in Caracas? Like, what happened?
It's literally the whole country. 15% of the crime rate went up.
Okay, hold on. Before you say that, like, where you getting the information from?
Google, also ChatGPT. I fact checked it several different times. It's when you replace the government with this nothing, anarchy is going to happen.
So, is there anarchy happening right now in Venezuela? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there's mostly just more of a crime rate. Not exactly full-on anarchy, but at the most, the crime rate went up. So you replace government with another form of government in between that space there, that's going to cause crime eventually.
Okay, I'm not quite sure that what you're saying is accurate, so I'll just take your word for it, and we can just move on from there.
Well, don't get me wrong. I think grabbing him was a good idea because this guy was a mass murderer. I mean, over time, this guy would have kept on just killing. And, you know, it was also doing it pretty close to the CCP also. Not only that, we got rid of the Iranian dictator over there. And unfortunately replaced him with his son. So it feels like we got rid of one problem and the other problem just showed up back again. And also, the secret police, the watching of people who criticize Israel over in Florida, that new law coming in, that's a little insane.
So what law is this now?
The law that's coming in, I looked it up in my notes. Don't worry, I don't usually have notes with me. But yes, Florida, granted, I like the capital law that they have against chomos and against that. But the one recently, if you criticize, there's a organization that if you criticizes Israel, they put you on a watch list to make sure that you're not causing any form of terrorism or anything like that, which I don't really understand the comprehension of why being watched because you criticize a random Middle Eastern country. It's crazy. It's the, hold on a second. It's on my notes. Oh yeah, here we go. The social media and surveillance bill that anybody who criticizes Israel of all things are on a watch list just in case. And I'm like, I don't get the comprehension.
Okay, let's slow down. So it's a bill or a law? Which one?
The bill.
Okay, so it's something that somebody proposed, but it's not on the books, correct?
Not yet. Not yet. But also, I think it's kind of crazy why they would do that.
Well, you can propose anything. There's all kind of things that get proposed on the left and the right and the middle, but that doesn't mean anything until it becomes a law.
Well, that's true, and I agree with that. But the Ron DeSantis of all things is just trying to push that bill through.
You said who now?
Ron DeSantis.
So he's lobbying for it?
He's lobbying for it, which is of all things.
Do you have evidence of that? Like, I feel like you're saying a lot of things right now that you can't really prove, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I feel like.
I have it right here. It's screenshots right here. I got them to research, brother. I mean, like I said, Venezuela went up on crime rate about 15%. Going to over Iran and start a conflict over there with a country that doesn't respect us because they literally don't. Those people literally call us goyams.
Huh? Where?
Yeah, the Jewish people literally call us goyams.
Oh, okay. Wait. So all the Jews do that? Is that what they do?
I am Jewish myself, sir. I'm just saying.
So do you? So wait. So wait. Just one doggone minute. So do you call us goys?
No.
Okay, then. So wait. No. So
I'm saying the government, the Israeli government.
You said the country. You didn't say government. You changing. Don't lie now. You said country.
How I'm lying?
You said country.
I'm not.
You're changing it.
I have a serious question, ABL.
What's up?
I didn't exactly say the whole country because literally the whole country can't.
You got to slow down because you're just going way too fast. Now that's why I asked you the question. I said, do they all say that? And then you change it to something else. Just stay with what I'm asking you. Let's start over again. You said the country, and I said, do you think they all say that? Do they all call us goys? What's your answer?
Obviously not. I'm just saying, not as the government doesn't represent everybody.
So the government does that? Where's your evidence of that?
There's quotes up between emails that I've been looking at from Netanyahu. Calling us that, basically literally calling us the linked audio, the linked emails to the Epstein files, basically calling us weak.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to really, get too much into that, but I'm just saying, I think that there's a lot of things you're saying that you're just saying a general thing as a statement to apply when it may not be true. You may have some truth, but it's not the entire truth. I can't just say a thing as a blanket statement without having anything to really back it up to be 100% the truth.
I understand. I should have straight up said the government over there looks at it, not the people. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, 90% of the people on both sides really don't even want this war happening. Be truthfully honest with you.
Okay. So.
But hey, thank you for taking my phone call, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, no problem. Like I said, I got the screenshots, but I very much take my phone call and don't get hit by a robot, guys. Don't get hit by a car robot. We don't want another Mascom overdrive. See you guys later.
All right, now. All righty, my man. You got to just take a deep breath, man, and just relax. Just kind of pump your brakes a little bit. You did about 2x speed. Go down to like 1.5, and you be good money. So shout out to him though. Always a cool dude to call in with his opinion. I appreciate everybody for their opinion and their viewpoint. You be talking about $7,000, man. I don't know, man. I feel like anybody that says something about 7,000, it's just like you might as well say 6, 7. Just do that because it's kind of silly. Because the truth is, these, the Jewish stuff, don't nobody even really care about. Those are my least watched videos. Nobody really cares. If you're paying me to talk positive, you're wasting your money because don't nobody even care to watch what I talk about when it comes to that. 304, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, this is M-Dub, your West Virginia on-ground correspondent, just calling in to give a shout-out to Mr. Joseph Foreman. They call him Fro. Good old Afro man won his case today.
I saw some of that, so shout out to him. I'm glad he was able to succeed in that.
It was nice to see that, the little tears on the stands, that, they weren't being fooled by anyone. They were trying to put it all on him. They messed up, didn't want to own up to it, but you also have to admit that that suit was pretty good looking for him, and he wore it well.
Right on.
But what really are the grounds that they were trying to say that they could even damage his property like that and not have any resolve? You know what I mean?
I don't know the details of the case. I just saw little snippets of it. I saw with a suit on, and I saw him in the court. It was a lady on the stand crying, but I don't know all the details of what actually happened there.
Right on. Yeah, I had to step away from all the war stuff going on, and when I saw Fro go into court, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this one through. This isn't a Amber Heard case, so. But, yeah, appreciate you taking my call tonight. You have a blessed night, bud.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, I saw that whole thing about Afro Man. I ain't really paid that much attention. I saw a little bit. I was like, okay, what's going on? Afro Man still in the news. Yeah, like how are you even in court right now, Afro Man? Like, what is the actual problem? I don't really know. But shout out to him. And shout out to you guys for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. I'm gonna look into this whole thing with I'm talking about the Florida situation with Ron DeSantis. I'm gonna look into that and see what's going on. I'm gonna look into it and see what's happening, but it probably ain't nothing. But I'm gonna still look into everything and see exactly what's happening. And shout out to you guys again for rocking and rolling. Okay, Extreme D says Venezuela faces a precarious security situation with analysts warning of high risk of violence, expecting it's not 15% higher. I'm not quite sure. Maybe that was a typo. What is Afro Man? He's a rapper that had one song back in the day, and he's like a popular figure where he's at, I suppose. I saw that story, but I was like, I'm going to just kind of observe it from the side and not really, Shout out to you, German student. I appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know how many years ago that was. How long was that song? Man, I'm looking up Afro Man. Cause I got high. That song. Okay, a drug song back in 2000. This is 26 years ago. All right, 26 years ago. He looking like George Clinton right now, but back then he looked more like Coolio or something like this. I don't know. But yeah, he's in the news because of some court action. I don't even know. Don't get me to lying. Don't get me to lying about what's really going on with Mr. Afro, man. I guess it's like an entertaining story. I don't care. I don't know. But if you watch that story, shout out to you. It's all good. Okay. You should wait and know about that. You might even be too young. Were you born in 2000? That's when the song came out. If you were born in 2000, then you have no idea who that is. Because that song came out when you were a baby, like a newborn. It might have come out before you even born. Yeah, that's him. CB, that's him. Okay, matter of fact, hold on. Now I got to show this dude's face. Now I got to show him. I'm going to show him here, and then I'm going to show him how he look right now. He went from looking like, I don't know, he looked like George Clinton at this particular point. And can I get the suit? There we go. There go the suit. Let me get that queued up. And this is him right here. YouTube, don't give me no strike. I just want to play this right quick.
Roll another blunt.
Fucking weed. Okay, that's Afro Man right there. All right. Okay, again. Close-up picture of him back in 2000. And now let's go a little bit forward in time, 2026. There we go. All right. That is Afro Man right now with the American flag suit on and the glasses in court over some civil dispute. I don't know what it is. But there we go. All right. Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody. Shout out to you guys. I'll take a little bit more time here. If anybody wants to call in, the number to call 706-406-3287. Okay, like that song still get rotation, Angela. Okay. Shout out to you. If you listen to the song still, it's all good. All right, alcohol way worse than weed, if we're being honest. I mean, I think the thing about weed is that it is not as harmful to your body, but it can make people become lethargic and lazy. Not all the time, but some of the time. It can damage productivity. Alcohol, the side effects of that are depression and sometimes violent rages, but it may not affect productivity as much as the weed. That's just why there's a conflict over that when you're talking about the government trying to make it be legalized. It's not necessarily about anything other than the productivity, in my humble opinion. But as far as the safety of it, yeah, for sure. It's much safer than alcohol. It's not even the question. And tobacco. But it's a productivity issue that is a concern. All right, there we go. That's pretty much a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. I will be back again live on Saturday night. Same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Eastern time, so right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm live every Tuesday on the Instagrams. Shout out to you guys over there last night on Instagram. I appreciate y'all for that. The Instagram live will go up on YouTube Friday night, 8 p.m. And it'll also be on your favorite audio streaming platform. This is a podcast that'll be on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Alrighty, so did I get everybody here? I think I did. Thank you to Devin, who says any vehicle on the road. I already read that. Devin says any vehicle on the road should have skin in the game, for sure. All right, that's pretty much everybody. I will see you guys again next time. But before I leave, y'all know, shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you do. You know I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. Somebody said you prefer Walter White in moderation. That's funny. You guys are hilarious. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. I'll be back on Saturday live, but I'm here every single day, Sunday through Sunday, putting up pre-recorded content, long form, short form, whatever you want. Visit the website, visit the social media platforms, because some things with the YouTube shorts, my strategy now, if you have noticed, I'm putting out about 2 long forms a day with maybe 1 or 2 shorts, maybe 3, depending upon what's going on. That's a good strategy for me right now. But sometimes I may put some shorts that don't go on YouTube. So if you want more of the short content, Follow me, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, where I put everything. And I may put some things on TikTok occasionally. TikTok, what they want is when I'm talking with no video, no nothing, just me and my face. Any kind of video I react to, they don't want that. Any kind of video I show, they don't want that. Any kind of AI I show, they don't want that. They want straight up just me talking. So I'll be on TikTok if that opportunity presents itself for that kind of video. All right, so that's pretty much all I got. So until, hold on, I got a super chat. Thank you to Dart for your cross, your Christian cross and American flag emoji. I appreciate you for that. All right, did I get everybody now? I believe I did. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.